What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another exciting episode of the Viall Files Reality Recap Edition. And boy, do we have a jam-packed episode for you. Momentarily, the icon herself, Denise Richards, will be joining us to just, gab a little bit, talk about her new Bravo show. What's it called?
Denise and the Wild Things?
Denise and her Wild Things.
Denise and the Wild... In her Wild Things?
Her Wild Things.
Either way, it's a great title. We love it. We're excited to talk with Denise fresh off her appearance on Special Forces and just I honestly Denise has good takes on life. So we're excited to talk with her. Then we have Alex from Love is Blind, the guy who's was in the relationship with Madison. What a couple. Anyways, we'll be talking with him and get into the rest of episode 3 through 6 of Love is Blind. I think that's what we were talking about.
4 through 6. 4 through 6.
Then we have another icon herself, Chrishell Stause, is with us to talk about her time on Traitors, catch up with her. Great conversation that we have with Chrishell. Very exciting stuff for you ahead. What's going on with this fish? All right. I came in here, you guys are obsessed with some fish. You asked me if I watched Finding Nemo. I was like, why do I care about this? But what?
She's a diva taking the world by storm. Leia?
It's really the only thing I care about right now,
What?
if I'm being honest.
No, please.
Okay, this black sea devil angler fish was spotted swimming to the surface of the ocean.
Oh, this ugly little thing. Yeah.
They're not ugly.
No!
Not ugly.
They live
It's
at
so
the
cute.
depths of the ocean floor, essentially. So
It
it's
is
a
very
big deal.
cute.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Literally lives in darkness where the sun doesn't hit the ocean, and it swam all the way up to the surface
She.
so that it could see the sun before it died. And I
She.
know that there's an scary environmental reason that this is happening, but I'm gonna ignore it because it's so cute.
They're not supposed to make it to the surface. So
Yeah.
they provide light for to catch prey, but also the organisms down at the bottom where there is no light. So
How big is this fish?
pretty big.
Okay.
It's so
Well,
small.
no. How big do you think that fish is? Just judging by your gut instinct, how big do you think that fish is?
3 feet.
Fits in the palm of your hand.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah, it's really
I
tiny.
didn't know it was that
So
small.
It's
cute.
so
You guys, why am I
small.
crying?
And how did we find
They
or
made it
discover
look
this
huge
fish?
in Finding Nemo.
Some of them are bigger.
Well,
Well, she was really
Clownfish.
small.
Well, Nemo's.
Okay, but think of clownfish. I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty-
Well, so what happened is basically she was dying and she wanted to see the
She?
sun.
We
Yes,
know?
she. We know she.
Yeah,
We know her.
We're not.
Apparently, the males.
We're
are
not.
smaller.
No, this is
Why am I
not.
crying?
This is
This is
not.
science.
This is science.
Okay.
Is
This
it
is
safe
science.
to
This
say
is not.
publicly?
Yes.
Okay.
She was dying and
Okay.
she wanted to see the sun before she died. So she swam up to the surface.
Oh my
How
god.
did, who discovered this? How do we know?
And
this?
wait, is she dead now? Or
She's dead.
She's not supposed to make it to the
She
surface.
did die.
She's not.
But she
they're not-
did.
she
But
did.
She saw the sun. before she died.
Nevertheless,
Was she
she
floating?
persisted.
How do we know she? Yeah. How do we
know
she's
this?
Still alive.
Scientists.
Is this a story?
Also, fish are not supposed to float to the surface. They regulate with oxygen and whatnot so that they stay below.
Yeah, I mean, shit happens.
I don't know. I feel
Yeah.
like all my goldfishes when they died, they were belly up and
The surface.
floating.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
No, this fish swam to the surface. She made a long journey.
That is
Yeah,
so
she made a
beautiful.
journey.
You know what that reminds me of? There's a veterinarian clinic somewhere. I don't know exactly where and what part of the country, but whenever they have to euthanize dogs, they if they're sick or old age or whatever, they give them a Hershey's Kiss because they say no dog should die without trying chocolate.
Aw.
There's a trend where people are doing a last day for my dog, and oh my god, I can't. I can't even think about it.
Guys, this is getting really sad.
Yeah, it is.
Well,
I found the remote under Nick's pillow, everyone. So
No,
that's where
here
it
we go.
was the whole
Under my
time.
pillow?
Yep, under your pillow. That's where it was the whole
So you put it
time.
there.
I put
Why
it
was
there.
I? So I was sleeping. Guess I'm not a princess.
Pillow Princess.
You guys never heard of the Princess and the Pea?
mhm.
Oh,
Nemo?
I have.
Princess and the Pea.
Okay.
Yeah.
I slept soundly, so I guess not a princess.
That means that Nick's humble, is what he's saying.
Right.
Is that
Yeah,
what that
for
is?
sure.
Yeah, because remember, she could fill the pea because she was so spoiled that even with 20 different mattresses stacked on top, she filled the one pea.
I live a hard life.
Mhm.
I really do.
It's that special forces training.
Yes, of course. Blake Lively has amended her complaint that came out yesterday with updates alleging that there are additional women coming forward or that additional women came forward and complained about Justin's on-set behavior, and those people are prepared to testify at whatever trial may or may not come forward. So there is that. So I don't know. I imagine the Justin Baldoni people will pick it apart and all the online trolls. I'm just really, really looking forward to the day this finally goes to court. I'm just looking for that day where I can tell all of you, I told you so. There's going to be a lot of people who really embarrass themselves. Whitney Cumming comes to mind most importantly, but you know.
Whitney
I don't
Cumming?
think that's the biggest thing.
Well, there's a
for
lot
her.
of people, but I'm just like most of the people who are like coming forward are just like people you've never heard of. They're like online.
Oh, I meant Whitney Cummings has other stuff she can be embarrassed for.
But she was one of the more mainstream
Yeah.
public figures to like seem to start riding for Justin, which I found a bit shocking. But whatever, I feel very confident that people are going to find out.
It does say the 137-page filing included new assertions of alleged misconduct, saying, in quotes, Miss Lively was not alone in raising allegations of on-set misconduct more than a year before the film was edited, and evidence of alleged threats, harassment, and intimidation of Lively and others in defendant's retaliatory campaign. So
I just think people really are missing the whole point. I think people should be really kind of scared about how effective this online smear campaign of Justin Bononi's has been. As soon as like the witnesses start testifying, like the accusation about like Justin like claiming he didn't stop when he didn't get consent, and then her driver kicked him out. Like if he testifies, it's over. It's pretty easy to prove like the kind of online activity of Justin's smear campaign. You know, they're only just debating about who threw what punch first. Anyways, more to come. We'll see what happens, but we'll see what happens when they go to a trial.
leave it to the courts, like ASAP Rocky did, and he is now innocent.
Yeah,
so.
ASAP Rocky is proven to be found not guilty. So a little different than innocent, but not guilty.
Did you see his reaction where he jumped through the pews into Rihanna's arms?
Yes, I
Did he?
read
Love
an
is
article
real.
about that first, and I was like, they made it sound so like he dove into the crowd and flew across people.
It
and I
really
was like,
kind of
did.
crazy.
yeah.
Yeah, it really was.
Do
Like,
we have it? I love a good bet on yourself story, and this is one of the more ultimate bet on yourself stories. A man who was offered 6 months in prison, turned that down, was facing up to 25 years in prison, and won. That's a
Good
big
for
bet.
him.
That's a big bet. Let me see this video. Yeah, no, he dove. He absolutely dove. That's sexy. Good
That's
for him.
sexy.
He actually pushed someone out of the way to get to her.
I think he like his lawyer was there and he was like, hug the, okay, get the fuck off me. My
Yeah.
wife.
Yeah.
If I was married to Rihanna, I would do the exact same thing. She would be my number one priority.
I don't
to
even
hug.
have to be married to her to want to do that.
That's so true.
Is Denise here?
Yes.
Let's bring her in.
Your show is huge. I'm so happy for you.
Thank you, Denise.
It's amazing.
Thank you.
You're
It was
amazing.
probably because you came on.
Oh, stop.
You
yeah.
Welcome back,
catapulted
by the
us.
way.
Thank you for having
So good to be with
me.
you. How have you been?
I've been great. Thank you.
It's nice to know. I hope you agree. But like first time you came on here, it was like, oh my god, we're having Denise Richards on, like a Bond girl, and like now we're friends.
I love that.
Now we're family.
And before, when I was here last time,
Mhm.
you weren't parents yet. You were pregnant.
That's crazy.
She was.
Really?
So
Wow.
how is parenthood?
It's been over a
Lovely.
year. She just turned 1 beginning of this month.
Isn't it crazy how fast
It goes so fast. I honestly had a moment the night before her birthday and I was like putting her to bed and I was crying and I was like, I must have just been like blacked out. How did it go by this fast? Like there's no way.
It goes by
It's
really
crazy.
fast.
I made Natalie cry last night though.
Why?
We were just talking about being parents, and we're talking about our parents, and I was empathizing with our parents because sometimes as we get older and like I don't know, sometimes we just get annoyed with our parents, or we have
Right.
expectations of our parents or whatever, or we don't need our parents, we want things from our parents. And I was just like, well, now that we have a kid, like every day that goes by, Riva will need us less and less, like she can't.
Shot in the heart.
So like that, and then I just started crying.
Oh,
Obviously because she has that bond, but I was just kind of pointing out that like, we're so used to River, we can't look away for 5 seconds, especially now that she's walking.
Oh, I know, right?
And so it's
Crazy.
just like
Whole new world.
for survival, our daughter needs constant supervision, and like every day goes by, she gets a little bit more independent, and that'll be the case every day for the rest of her life. And I think as we get older as adults, we will kind of push back on our parents and want and fight for that independence, right? And
Right.
and I think as parents, I'm imagining as your daughters have gotten older, you've felt
Yes.
that kind of.
Oh, it's so hard. It's such a hard adjustment, but at the same time, in a weird, strange way, they need us more when they get older too, because they need your advice. Even though sometimes they don't want to hear it. My mom even always said before, she passed away, she was like, you never stop being the parent. You're always I'm always going to be there and you're always going to need me. And I did, like whatever was going on. So it's just, and someone said this to me too when my oldest daughter was 1, it was a director and he's like, you know what? You grow with your kids. And it's so true. Like you'll grow with them. So it's not like all of a sudden they're babies and then they're out of the house, even though it kind of is a blink of an eye of it happening. And my oldest is turning 21.
It's crazy.
In a few weeks. And I can't believe I have a 21-year-old daughter. It's so weird. I remember being 21. It's so surreal and strange.
Oh, that is fun. So how is, so you have your new show out.
Yes, we have a new show.
Love the name.
Thank you.
Did you come up with it?
No, I did not. Alex Baskin did.
Good old Alex.
Good
Yeah.
old
For him.
Alex.
It's a great name,
What-
right?
It's a
Great
great
name.
name. It's a great name. I'm very excited about it. I think
Thank
all of
you.
Bravo Nation is excited to have you back.
Thank you so much for saying that.
Were you feeling any type of like anxiety or nerves about that, or feeling like maybe people
Oh.
weren't excited?
Well, I think it's always a little nervousness, especially, when you join like the Housewives. The Housewives is successful no matter who's on the show.
Mhm.
But when it's your own show, you're like, oh,
Gotta
well,
pull away.
Priya.
Oh, yeah.
It's on all of us, me mostly.
Yeah.
But and it's a different experience having now my daughters being older and they're very much a part of it. So it's exciting, but of course you're like, I hope people watch it.
Oh my God, I think they definitely will.
Well, that iconic line when it was like, dude, you're being such a bitch. And you're like,
Don't call your sister a
a
dude.
I forgot I said that until I saw it. I was like, oh gosh. It's I was
No,
more
it's good.
concerned about her calling her a
Denise,
dude
that is why
than a
you are
bitch.
on TV.
That's good. That is why, yeah, it is good.
Was it a
good.
fun filming process?
It was, but it was also challenging working with your family.
Yeah.
And especially the older girls, there were times where they may be a little tired or something. I'm like,
Mhm.
I don't care.
Yep.
We have to show up.
Yeah.
And I imagine when you guys discussed filming the show, like you went to your husband and the girls and asked their interest in doing it. to begin with.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alex approached me and said, what do you think about doing a family reality show? And then he and I thought that could be fun. I want to make sure though that the girls were wanting to do it. And so he and I met with the girls and they had a couple conversations with him and they were really excited about it. And then we shot a sizzle a year ago and then we started filming a little shortly after that. So it's been, and for that, it's very different because we were on a reality show years ago, but they were so little. But then, and they've done a few scenes on Housewives,
Mhm.
but to be very involved, it's a little different. But I think they had fun doing it.
Okay. And then
We'll see.
we'll see and we'll see some housewife cameos. It looks like
yeah,
mostly Bev Hills, or we're gonna have some other
no,
franchise
Bev Hills.
crossovers.
Yeah,
Mostly Bev Hills.
yeah.
Are you watching this season at all?
I've only seen a few episodes
Okay.
this season.
Because last night was
I didn't see
Crazy.
last night. Oh, I'll have to.
it was a
catch
good
up.
episode. Yeah, it was.
Oh.
Who are you close with
Camille
specifically? Like this season, and anyone on this current
and,
season?
Sutton
Okay.
and Garcelle
Sutton Garcelle.
and Kathy.
Okay, I love Kat. Can you help us get Kathy on this show?
Yes.
I DM'd her once, and she wrote back. She's like, "Let's do it." And then we went back and forth, and she has since ghosted me.
I know someone I can call
Okay.
to try to get her on.
Okay.
I'm sure she would love to be here.
I think we would
She's
have so much fun.
hilarious. Oh,
She
you would.
is,
She's
yes.
so funny.
She
She's
is
so
funny,
funny. Right?
I would die. Yeah.
But like there was that scene last night where they were all fighting, and Buzz was like, "You should just be quiet," and Kathy was like, "You're right. Mhm, you're right."
yeah.
Okay. I will make a call when I leave here.
I would greatly appreciate it. And also, I just want to say how proud I am of you on your Special Forces appearance.
Thank you so much for saying that.
Denise had called me up. So after a few months after she had came on the show, and for people who don't remember or who didn't listen to the episode, Denise was very interested in asking questions about my time on Special Forces. And then,
Very nervous about the craft services and the potty.
yeah,
The potty. But I told you, I think I told you I wasn't, when I did do your show, I said there's no way I would do it. Right?
you seemed on the fence. You liked the idea.
Because I remember I called you on the fence. I wasn't
You were
sure.
still on the fence. Yeah.
I was still on
Nana
the
and I
fence.
went to, I remember it because Nana and I decided to drive to Calabasas for brunch. It was one of those things like, let's do something different, And when by that was Anally. Let's do something
Yeah.
different. So we drove to Calabasas for a brunch that wasn't as good. Whatever. Anyways, Denise called. And I was like, Denise Richards calling me. I'm like, oh, we're friends.
That's cute.
But Denise called and she had some questions about special forces, and I answered those questions, and she ended up doing it. And you were so like committed to doing well, and that was your big thing when you called. Is like you really wanted to go and kind of test yourself and see what you're capable of, and I really admired that.
Thank you. I was so naive to think I could go further than what I did.
But you did insane things. Like you jumped off of a moving boat onto a flying helicopter.
I can't believe that. I was so dumb to do that. Like I could have really gotten hurt.
Well, I mean, you did.
It's like, oh, just go.
Did you not get hurt though?
I didn't get hurt on that. Jumping off the bridge, I did.
Jumping off the bridge,
Yeah.
you did. Oh, that one.
Yeah.
Well, I thought it was incredible. You were literally a
Thank you.
speeding boat jumping onto a helicopter, and you did that. And
But
like,
you know what, in a movie, if that was like a real stunt, first of all, they wouldn't have the actor do it. Second of all, if we did, there would be all this, I don't know, you'd rehearse more, you'd probably practice like somewhere else. It wouldn't be just like,
Go do
okay, here we go, action, and just go.
No, literally, exactly. Like when I went and did that show, I was like, oh,
It's
they're going to give us all
crazy.
this training. And no, what happens is like you're standing on like, I don't know, the shoreline. And then they go, look over there. And they like demo. They're like, this is what you're going to do. Watch. And they're like, go do that. Like, that's it. That's all the training you get.
Crazy
Did
when
you have
think
to
about it.
channel your like try and think like, okay, I'm in a movie. I'm
Yes, I
acting. This is
did.
how I'm going to do that.
I had to pretend like I was doing a movie.
Wow.
If it was just me, I wouldn't have done it. I wouldn't have been able to go. When I saw the very first thing we had to do was to jump off a moving boat in this weird water. I didn't know what was in there. And we didn't have our phones to Google the body of water. I wanted to see if there were sharks and shit. So they take our phones away, as you know. And I was like, what the hell's in there? And it's dark and raining. And I don't know. Anyway, it was scary. And when the helicopter was going up, I thought, okay, the further I go up, the further I'm going to go there.
Down. Yeah.
And so I was like, I'm going to let go.
You're
right
a
now.
badass. I told you when we talked, I'm like, you can finish if you, as long as you don't quit, unless you get hurt. And then, you get hurt. But
no, I
like,
did get hurt. But even if I didn't get hurt, I would have opted out with the fight stuff. When I saw they don't use a lot of head, like I don't need my nose broken right now.
Yeah. No, and they really
so I would
tell
have
you,
opted out for that.
You're punching. People are just straight up fighting.
Good for you. Like after doing it, for you to do what you did, incredible.
Well, thanks, Denise. This is
Mhm.
about you.
But
Yeah.
well, thank you. But for obviously people, it's much harder than it looks.
Was there any part of you watching it back that was like,
I never
oh,
saw
could-
it.
Oh, really?
Mm-mm.
Why
I
not?
saw the clips. I don't like watching my like stuff, but also that because in the room where they take the potato sack off your head,
Mhm.
I said stuff that I've never talked about before, and I didn't know what they were airing. I was like, and when I left there, I was like, oh my gosh, why did I say this? But I wanted to be honest too and get out what I could from
Yeah.
the show. But I think that's part of it too.
Yeah, you're a little bit like,
Yeah.
I don't need to.
I don't need to see
rewatch
what.
that.
Yeah.
So how are we feeling about Denise and the Wild Things?
I mean, the one thing that people will see, we have pretty much no filter, which is not a surprise with myself and my family. And it's just slice of life. And I'm excited about it. But it's also, you're so vulnerable, like when you're like, oh my gosh, we shot a reality show and it's all of us just out there. But
Did you feel safer in this environment than with like the housewives? Because obviously you can't control what all these other women are saying, and like they want to create drama, and like here you're with your family.
I think I was more protective in this situation because of my girls, because they've lived in the shadow of their parents their whole life. And for them to be out there on their own, in a sense, that's, they're doing press, they're doing stuff. They've never done this before.
Wow.
So it's new for them. So it's also being more protective about them being exposed to different things and comments and stuff like that. But that's, so I think it's a little bit of both.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Is Charlie making any type of
He
appearances?
is.
He is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you approach him and ask, hey,
Yeah,
we're
I'm
doing
like,
this. What
hey,
do you think?
can you do this? And he said yes right away. Then he was like, no. Then yes. And then no. I'm like, You wanted me to do something for your documentary. You're doing this.
There you go.
And he had a good time, actually, I think. It was a good experience.
That will be fun to watch. That will be.
Yeah, no, it was he and I and Lola, and it was good.
And the relationship with your husband and Charlie still pretty positive?
Yeah. No, they from day one, they've always had a pretty good relationship,
That's
which
amazing.
helps.
Yeah.
What else have you been up to?
Well, that's been a lot.
Okay.
You have been
And,
quite busy with 2 shows.
Yeah, I've been busy with that and just family life, as you know, with kids, and it's been great and exciting.
What have you been doing kind of just to unwind and kind of take care of yourself and relax? What have you been doing for fun?
Well, I think I told you, I don't know if I shared this with you, but if I didn't, this is my advice to you guys
Oh my
being new parents, is I think it's good to always, like my husband and I, we do once a month where we'll do a staycation where we will go to a hotel in the area and just shut down and not have any distractions. And I think it's so important for especially young parents too, to not forget to have romance and have
yeah.
your time to
Little
always
sex.
reconnect. Yeah, exactly. And it's nice to just have that. I mean, you could still have sex too in your house, but I'm just saying it's nice to have like no distractions where, so
Well,
I love that.
we went to New York for an interview, which happened to be Valentine's Day.
Oh.
And so we went alone.
Oh, you
Yeah,
did?
we-
Was that the first time leaving the baby?
No, it's
That was like
Third?
our third, but I think that was the longest time. It's usually like one
One night.
night that we're
Okay.
able to leave. This was 2 nights.
I feel like it's a good balance. I'm always saying to Natalie, like, this is good for her. I think this is good for us,
It is.
because like we're not going for any extended period of time. We're very lucky to feel very safe and confident with the childcare that we do have, which is often her
It's hard.
mom.
Which
Yeah.
is nice.
And like, I think I read somewhere you learn, but like, you're at some point your child needs to learn that you can leave and come back.
Right.
And so even if it's for a short period of time. And so, yeah, we're, testing
I
the waters,
know.
nothing extended. It's a little nerve wracking for sure. There's always a little bit of guilt,
It's the
just
guilt.
to be away.
It's because
guilt.
now she like knows that we're gone. Like before she just was so little, she didn't really like know what was going on. And now it's like if we FaceTime and the FaceTime hangs up, she's crying, she's mad.
But then
she's like,
she's
"Where's
fine
my mom?"
after that.
yeah, for like 5
yeah,
seconds.
yeah.
She,
Right, exactly. And you know what? When she's 10, she's not going to remember.
That's true.
And she's not going to
I
be like, oh,
know.
my parents left.
Yeah.
And I think it's important for kids to know, like mom and dad, or mom and mom, or dad and dad, whoever is, like, it's okay for them to, like, they need their time too.
Yeah.
I think it's good for kids.
I think so.
And then when they get a little bit older, you'll be like, can we leave for a week?
Yeah. We gotta get out of here.
Mom, can
They're
you
crazy.
watch her?
Yeah.
Do you keep up with Kyle or Dorit at all? From the
Dorit, I don't. Kyle, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No,
So
it's
you don't know
nice.
anything about what's going on with Dorit's marriage?
I don't.
Okay.
I mean, I've heard.
It's a
Bits and
big
pieces.
storyline of this
I
season.
heard
this
that
season.
it is.
Okay.
Yeah, Kyle's involvement and like PK's the friendship. It's all
Okay.
a big mess on this season. So
I personally don't know. Like, I didn't ask Kyle about it.
I mean,
So
if I
don't
were in your
have any
position, I
info.
would definitely not. But
Oh.
I don't watch often at shows I'm on. I did watch Special Forces though.
Well, how could you not?
when you win,
You know, you made it to,
Yeah.
as far as you did.
But I don't watch any of my acting.
yes,
That's been traumatic for me.
Why is it traumatic for you?
I think it's a little imposter syndrome for sure. I don't really need to critique my performance as I was just happy to be there.
Do you want to do more acting? Do you like it?
I do like it. I was doing more a few years back with the show taking off and us being so busy. I've had less opportunities and certainly have had less opportunities to study and practice because I'm not a natural, that's for sure. I do I really enjoyed studying it and taking the classes and getting better and like understanding what it took to be a good actor and just like the prep that goes into it and more than anything, just kind of having respect for acting. And before I even took any acting classes, I would just watch movies, I'd watch TV, and I would just be watching a show. I wouldn't really even think about the performances. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then once you are able to go on set or you study acting a little bit, you do acting classes, you watch it in a different way. And I've enjoyed that process of like being aware of like that's watching a performance and realizing what that is and understanding how TV is made or how movies are made. I have a much different appreciation for it. So if I get the opportunity to do it, I would love to do it. But it's not something that I'm not studying it as much as I used to. Just
Okay.
the show, fatherhood, things like that. It's been tougher. But how about you? Like, what are you?
Well, it's funny too when I watch movies or TV shows. Like if it's a night scene, I'm thinking, oh gosh, they're freezing. They were, you're up all night doing these shoots, and so I do look at it too differently. Or if it's action movies are hard. Like if it's a one line here or there, and to do that well it's not as easy as it looks sometimes. So it is. You just look at it a little differently.
Well,
when
that's
you
the thing.
start
The
doing
better
it.
the performance, the easier it looks because you
Right.
don't really
Yeah.
think of the performance.
Right.
It looks
I
like someone
know.
just experienced. You're like you're watching a documentary. Do you think you'll ever want to get back into acting, or are you really
Yeah, I
enjoying
mean,
the reality
this
TV?
year has been tough with that because with the strike and things, I
Mhm.
was going to be doing a few projects, but they all got pushed. But I love acting, and I've been lucky that I've done a few other movies. But this year has been a little with the business and stuff. But I love it. I love
Yeah.
being on set. I love the camaraderie with everyone and collaborating. It's fun.
How were you affected, if at all, with the fires? I know, like, you're in Malibu?
Calabasas.
Calabasas,
We
so
did have
that's-
to evacuate.
did,
We
okay.
we're so lucky though. I mean,
Mhm.
my gosh, living in LA my whole adult life, seeing fires here, that was the worst I've ever seen. The worst to see what's happened to.
But you guys were safe and you're
Yeah,
okay.
we were.
Did
Thank
you have to? I mean, I know we did, and it was a very traumatic thing to even have to like pack a to-go bag to like
Oh,
think
yeah.
of everything that you cannot replace.
Well, because we were in the Woosley fires, and I learned after that you have to
Yeah.
have everything ready because we lost some things in that one. But with this time, like we did have to evacuate. We were out for about 2 weeks,
Wow.
almost.
Where'd you go?
Santa Barbara. We got an Airbnb. We were hotel hopping, and then we were able to get because also we didn't have power. Mostly it was that. So,
Wow.
but it's all good. We're all safe and everything's great. So
Good.
Curious, in housewife world, it's like there's a lot of close friendships, as you know, and then, but it's also a lot of, you're in the limelight. Housewives sometimes is predicated off of jealousy and things like that. I'm curious, like getting your own show, while nerve-wracking and obviously the pressure, it's, I feel like there's a lot of housewives out there that would prefer their own show rather than being part of an ensemble cast. And have you felt any jealousy, or has it just been all support from your friends, or?
the ones I'm friends with, I've felt support.
Okay.
I don't know the ones that I'm not friends with.
Yeah. They could
how
be pissed
feel.
for all we know.
You haven't
I'm
got
not
late
sure.
night phone calls and someone just breathing on the other end and hanging up?
Yeah, no, I'm sure they're, whatever.
You don't give a fuck.
I don't.
Okay.
I don't mean to say it like that, but it's like if I gave a fuck, I would have, I've had so much shit said over the years and that kind of thing that at some point I just had to have thick skin and just do what I wanted
It is
to.
honestly such a healthy mindset, I feel like, to have, is just to be like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I really don't.
It's a blessing in a way when you've had shitty shit written about you. You're like, at some point, you're like, okay, well, what more could they say? No,
Yeah.
I really don't care. It's
Yeah,
fine. I'm just going to live
exactly.
my life.
It really, do you remember, was there any particular thing that you had to go through that you really got
My
good at that?
divorce.
Your divorce?
Yeah, that was really hard. That was the first time I ever experienced bad press and being misunderstood and
Yeah.
having lies out there where I felt like I had to defend it.
Mhm.
And, my publicist who I'm still with, I've been with her forever, would tell me, don't say anything. And I would just be I really wanted to, but she was so right with that, just to sit back, just be quiet. But it's hard because when you're misunderstood and, I kind of had to go in a bubble and not read anything or hear about
Yeah.
anything because it could be very toxic and dark,
Mhm.
especially having young babies, trying to be a mom and a single mom and doing all of that. And it affected my job. It was really hard. And so, but it was such a good lesson for me because I was always like a people pleaser and worried when I did interviews what to say. Bless you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So it was actually the silver lining going through all of that was that I was able to just be myself doing stuff. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. I feel like I feel like TikTok is the like nasty OK magazine and like
Right.
the like tabloids of that era who would just
Right.
print crazy false like makeup stuff. I feel like TikTok is that today because it's like anyone can say anything and run with it and it gets millions of views and goes viral and whatever. And so yeah, it's like for me, I don't get on TikTok. Because like the second I get on, I have an intense anxiety of like what?
I know.
Because people can just say
they
anything.
can say
And it's
whatever.
crazy.
It is crazy. Yeah.
I haven't.
I'm glad I didn't go through my divorce during this time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah, now it's nuts out there.
No, it's not good.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of positive with it all too. But still, I'm glad my shit was before that.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask you something. I forgot.
Are you going to ask me about the toilet on Special Forces?
You want me to?
No, I'm joking.
That was one of your when you were sitting here, you were like, I'm worried about the craft, the food.
Yeah.
You're like, where's the craft services set up?
There's
and
no
also
craft
the
service.
body.
You were right about that.
There's definitely no craft
No,
service.
there isn't.
There is at the end. you
Oh,
know,
right.
when you finish.
And you go through the gates.
There's
There's,
like this whole
there's a
gate
whole
that-
camp. I'm
yeah,
like,
there's a
where the
whole
hell have
camp.
you
There's
guys
like
been, right?
civilization. You're like, what the fuck?
I know, it's so crazy.
Yeah,
They have hot tea for you.
Yeah, no, yeah,
Wow.
real food.
Yeah,
chips,
I was like-
soda, whatever.
Did you guys have a changing room outside with the heaters?
There was a changing room next door with, yeah,
Like when you were doing your tasks and if you guys got cold or wet
Wet,
or
yeah.
whatever.
yeah. There was like a drying room, so
Or
we had
whatever.
to dry our clothes that hanging.
No, but not in the camp, but like when you're out doing stuff. Because I remember when you guys were doing that, there'd be even just a little plastic tent. that you
Sometimes
guys-
there was a tent.
We never had that.
Well, the first time there was a tent, and then like there was always a tent for safety, but then they wouldn't let us use the tent. So like unless you were dying, you had to change
Okay.
outside,
Oh, okay. Got it.
basically.
Yeah. I was surprised by that. And when you have to change on TV,
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like, oh gosh.
No, it's
Yeah.
network television. You just have to trust that someone's going to see it, but
I
hopefully
know,
not
but
America,
still, and it's freezing.
Yeah.
especially for us guys.
Wait, so the potty was just
Okay,
a
so-
bucket, right?
Well, no, I did get a private toilet.
Okay, what do you mean?
So there's the ones where the door, because I was like, I don't want where you could see legs. I want the full door.
That was at Denise Richards' request.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm not gonna sit next to
Did they
someone
build
doing
full-
that. It took a month, and then we heard back. So I thought, I'm not doing the show. And then they were like, we got the toilet sorted. They called it the dumpster something. I forgot what it was called. But they said it would just be for me. And I said, I'm sure they're gonna love that I'm saying this, but I'm so sorry, producers. So I said, I don't want people to know it's just my toilet, because then I'll have a target on my back and then they're going to not like me.
Sure.
So it was for everyone. But I said, well, where is this toilet going to be? Do we get a tour of the place? I thought the producers would like show
No,
us around.
Definitely
And
not.
then on TV, it would be the Diaz. It's not like that. You don't even see the producers. So I saw, she goes, trust me, you're going to see where the toilet is. And I saw it was like covered with some, I don't know what, shrubs or some shit. Cam Newton is so damn tall. He just leaned over. He's like, wait a second, there's a toilet in here. So,
He
but
outed it.
I shut my mouth. I didn't say anything. But apparently after I left, Golden Tate told me they locked the door and I didn't last long. So I was like, that's kind of shitty. Why didn't they leave that thing unlocked for everyone else? But no one
they
knew that it
locked
was,
it.
yeah,
Wow.
once I was out, which was only 2 days.
Are you watching Traitors at all?
Yes, I love it. It's so great.
Would you ever do it?
Yeah.
I bet they would give you whatever toilet you want.
They asked me actually to do it, but it was a couple days after Special Forces. Well, I like the breakfast
They asked you to do this past.
this past, but I couldn't because we started filming our
You're
show.
being a badass,
Right.
Yeah.
So I had to get back to LA. But yeah, when I see that castle with that nice breakfast.
The outfits.
What about next season? Would you do it?
Yeah, I probably would.
Okay.
I love the show.
Yeah.
It's
Who
so
are you?
good.
Who are you rooting for the most on this season?
I wish Chrishell didn't get off. I liked
Yeah.
her. She's so sweet.
I know, she
Right?
is sweet.
Yeah.
I love Dolores.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
great.
It's such a shame she got voted.
That was Dorinda.
Oh, Dorinda.
You're thinking Dolores.
Too many D's.
Interesting.
Housewives.
Mhm.
The other housewife.
They really do target.
Dorinda was
yeah,
great,
they really
too.
do target housewives though.
They do.
They do. So you would have to be like, I'm
They
not a
did it
housewife.
last
I
season.
am Denise Richards of the Wild Things. I am not.
I don't think they give a shit. So you obviously watch the show. Would you do it?
I would. I hope we get a chance. It's tough with with
You're
this
kind
show.
of busy with this show.
Yeah, but hopefully someday.
Do you
it
think
would be
he should
fun.
do it?
Oh yeah.
And do you think he should be a traitor or a faithful?
I think he should be a faithful just because he's really not a good liar at all. Like he's one of those who's like, I lied to you earlier about I can't go on any longer. Like I didn't take the trash out. I lied to you. So I feel like if he was a traitor, there's a lot of like
It's
manipulating and lying.
Usually it's
and-
not the trash. It's like, did you smoke weed? And I'm like, yes.
Can't you smell that, though?
it's what?
Oh.
What? Did you smoke weed? What? Huh? And then he gets up and like, oh, someone's at the door. Like, I have to go hang up clothes or something. I have
She's
to
like,
leave
"Yep."
immediately.
When you who gets the remote?
I would like to have it. However, then it's set down and then all of a sudden he takes it and puts it on the other side. I'm like, where the hell is the remote?
And then you're looking for it for forever. Yeah.
And he's like, I don't know.
Do y'all get in bed at the same time? If it's
Yeah.
like, okay. And then
and we like to watch the same stuff. now,
yes,
too.
good. So, yep. So do we. Does like, he get your water, turn off
Yes.
the lights, lock
He
the
does all of
doors.
that.
He does the nightly
Yeah,
duties.
he does the nightly
As he
duties.
should, right?
Right.
Yes.
He brings me coffee in the morning.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Same.
Every morning.
Well,
Same.
Oh, you do?
not every
I
morning.
make
I
her
made my
coffee.
own this morning. So
I asked you. If
Well,
Yeah.
not today.
yeah, not today.
Okay,
No,
he's gonna
Natalie's
have to
turned
make
into a
up.
little barista, and
Yeah.
she has her little cappuccino machine. I offered to make her coffee, and then she's like, "No, I got it."
Mhm. But then I said, actually, you know what? I would like for you to make me coffee, but he never turned on
I
the.
did. No, I
What happened? Then? Because there wasn't coffee, and I had to make my own.
Why did she have to make her own coffee today?
because I was also making our daughter breakfast.
Okay, so
He's a
when your
busy man.
daughter wakes up in the middle of the night, I'm sure she sleeps through the night, but I'm sure if she wakes
She's
up
times,
crying,
yeah. Mhm.
who gets up with her?
Nick.
Me.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
But
That's good.
I enjoy it.
That's sweet.
Honestly, it's really because if I were to go in there, it would be like
And a
time to
whole night of
play.
bed.
Like
It's harder to get her
just-
back
it's-
down.
Yeah, it's a lot harder. She's a lot more of like a calmer energy.
It's
for
great.
her.
I walk
Yeah.
in, I put on one of Natalie's robes, real.
It's like a
fluffy
mini
robe.
dress.
That's so
on them.
cute.
And the river is like this, and then we cuddle, and then I put her back to sleep.
So
I just
she
lie-
doesn't sleep in your room at all.
She
She used
did in the
to.
beginning.
Mhm. Yeah.
We transitioned her to her crib at like 4 months, 4.5
Oh,
months,
that's
and she
good.
loves it. And she like,
Oh, good.
I put little stuffed animals in each corner of the crib, and she like will play.
How
other
old was she
animals.
when she started sleeping through the night?
Honestly, when we put her in at 4 months, she was like,
Isn't
First
that
night.
I'm good to
nice?
go.
Oh,
Yeah,
isn't that
first
nice?
Now we
nice.
got real lucky. And now sometimes we try to bring her into our room, but like Natalie's too much of a distraction.
Right.
Yeah, there is no like, let's fall back asleep, everyone. It's like
It's hard.
I need to be on top of my mom.
And it's amazing how much room they take up for being so little.
It's crazy.
right?
It's crazy. I'll be on like the far corner and she's really close up next to me. And then Nick is really close. And I'm like, there is so much room, Nick, on your side. You've got to scoot over.
No,
Everyone has got to
no,
scoot.
but most nights I have Jeff. So Steve's in the kennel.
Or dogs.
Jeff is in the bed.
And wait, what kind of dog is Jeff? I love the names. too.
They're
I'm a human
Labradoodles.
name.
They're little doodles.
Labradoodles.
Yeah.
But
Oh.
Jeff is just like up next to me. And there are
Jeff.
some nights where I'm just sandwiched between Natalie's body heat and Jeff's body
And I'm
heat.
in pants.
And I'm
so
and she's in
he's
pants.
extra pissed.
do you sleep in pants?
No. I sleep in either my husband's boxers
Okay.
or I have these Skims shorts.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
I
We love
love-
Skims.
We
Yeah.
love
I love Skims so much.
Yeah.
I know, so do I.
Yeah, I don't.
Natalie sleeps in pants.
It's because our house
Until I
is really
shamed her.
cold. And
I keep the room cold, but I like thousands of blankets, and my husband doesn't like to sleep. This is where we have our
Mm.
Sure.
disagreements with the bedding because I like really thick, weighted
Me too.
comforters.
Mhm.
He likes the soft, shitty ones, and so like I mean,
Paper
it's like-
thin.
yeah. And I'm
Yeah,
like
let a napkin.
that thing. I need to feel like I'm being hugged.
Yeah.
That's not
Especially if you're in
hugging me.
shorts.
Yeah. And I like the room cold, but I like to be under 1,000, like very thick blankets. But we have Tim that sleeps with us. That's our naked cat.
Okay.
And Blue
Not your neighbor.
is our naked cat. Not our neighbor. Not Tim the neighbor.
I know when you said Steve's in the kennel, I said our dog
Okay,
because I
why
thought
is-
you'd be
how
like
come Steve's
our
in
cousin.
the kennel, but Jeff isn't? I think that
Steve
hurts
is really
I knew you were
Steve
gonna
is
say
naughty. Steve is so
Okay, I
bad. He
gotcha.
opens drawers. He pulls stuff out in the
Okay.
middle of the
No,
night.
I
He's
get
bad.
that, in fairness to Steve, there's a bit of a transitional period. Jeff was our first, so Jeff kind of got dibs, and we kettle trained Jeff right away. 'Cause
I love the names too.
every time as soon as we got Jeff, everyone's like kettle train. So we did. We kettle trained Jeff.
I think
and
it's kennel.
what did I say?
Kettle.
That's
Tea
okay. I
kettle.
know what he was talking
Okay.
about.
Like kettle chips, you know? Kettle, whatever. Valentine's, it doesn't matter. You all know what I'm saying. Anyways, we trained him, and eventually Jeff started sleeping with us. We loved it. It was great.
It's so nice.
Yeah, it was wonderful. And then we had a child. Well, nobody got Steve. It was like, we had a good first baby, like Jeff. Jeff was
Right.
a very good dog, just really well behaved, kettle trained. Well, we just kind of didn't kennel train Steve. And so Steve started getting in bed with us. We're having 2 dogs. It got
It's
a little
lot.
nuts.
I get it.
We had to go back. And then Steve was kind of misbehaving. So we had to go back, kennel train him. Now he likes the kennel. And honestly, it's just too many fucking dogs in bed. And Steve, when we go to bed, he just goes right into his kennel.
That's like his bedroom.
That's his
Mhm.
bedroom.
Yeah, he
He's
loves
good.
it.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, he'll, we'll forget to lock the kennel because usually he'll just stay in there. And sometimes he
He'll come
creeps
out.
up out of bed.
Is the kennel in your room?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Oh, that's sweet.
But Steve is much better with River. They're
Yeah.
friends.
Oh, that's good.
Jeff wants nothing to do with River.
If she comes near him, he's like, ugh.
But,
Oh, that's so
Like,
cute
leaves.
though.
And Steve will let her pet.
Aw,
and
that's
it's,
so
it is
Steve
sweet.
and River are going to be very close friends. Yeah.
Oh, that's
So-
really sweet.
Was Tim around when your girls were
No,
younger?
Tim, he's only 2 years old, him and his sister. Our dogs most of them have passed away, but they were
Yeah.
always good with the girls.
Yeah.
We do have Lily. She's 12 though. So
Wow.
yeah, she's a lab. She's getting up there. She loves to sleep in the bed, but she's a lab. So she had stairs. But then my husband now, he moves the stairs so she can't go up. He's like, this is too much
With the
you know,
naked cats.
with the naked cats. And the naked cats, they're like heaters. So
Are they?
yeah, and Blue sleeps down by my legs and it's really hot. And then Tim sleeps on Aaron's under his armpit. So we have
That's
a full
how Jeff
bed
is.
too.
Yeah. It's a full
It's
bed.
a full bed.
Yeah. It gets hot.
So
in there.
There's a
interesting
lot
talking
going
to other
on.
couples, isn't it?
Do
Yeah.
you and Aaron share a drink?
What do you mean like
We have a communal cup. We drink at
Oh.
dinner. Nick and I
Like
will
even
make
if-
one
even if
big
it's a-
Stanley
We just have
of
one
full
cup.
of water, and there's one straw, and we share.
I mean, I would take a sip out of it if I couldn't find my water.
Right, but you have your own.
But we have our own.
Yeah, okay.
But I'm not judging
No,
by
of
any
course.
means. But yeah, we don't.
We are very much in the minority of that.
When you guys are filming season 2,
Thank you for saying that.
can we double date? Can we do a scene?
Okay, I'm gonna hold you to that.
Actually,
You swear you'll do it?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. I would
Yeah, I mean,
love
as long
that.
as it's fun.
My husband would love to talk to you because
as
first of all,
long as
he's-
it's fun and we goof
he's-
around.
Oh, we
Yeah.
would. He's first of all, he's so obsessed with special forces. Why I really did that damn show is because of him.
You want to turn him on.
Well,
Say it, that's why I did it.
No, I
No.
actually thought I wouldn't turn him on because I thought there's no way I could even do this damn thing. No, he wanted to live vicariously through me, I think, because he would kill it if he did it. So I know he would love to talk to you about it. He loved you on the show.
We would, yeah.
So
we
we'll
would-
double date.
We'll do a
Double
little.
date.
We'll do a
We'll
little.
for sure do that.
Denise
That
and
would
Wild
be
Things
fun.
cameo. Yeah.
I would love that.
We'll just be your friends.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, we are friends. Thank
I know,
you.
but I want the world to see us be friends. You're just we're just having dinner with our friends, Nick and
That
Natalie.
would be fun. Okay.
It would be
You
fun.
guys have to make
We're
sure.
in. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Oh my God, absolutely.
Sign us up.
We're there.
Yeah.
Tell Alex.
So I love that you're a cowboy gear. Do you ever want to move out of LA?
Yes.
Mhm.
Where would your dream place go?
Somewhere in the South.
I want to go to Tennessee.
So
Oh, really?
I'm from Alabama, lived in Georgia for a while, grew up going to Tennessee a ton. So I think we just have a lot since having River, I feel like we both want to just raise her in a slower life, a slower atmosphere,
understand.
bigger community, closer to family. So I do think we're going to end up in the South at some point, hopefully sooner rather than later.
So does
but-
your mom?
If we have a house in Tennessee or anywhere in the South at some point, maybe you and Aaron come and visit.
We
and
would
then-
love
and we'll
that.
do a whole episode of
We'll do
Denise.
another
We'll do a
double
weekend.
date.
Denise goes to the South.
to Alabama.
Yeah,
Or-
Yeah,
we
sure.
can do it. Or
That would
Georgia
be
or
fun.
Texas,
I
wherever.
I don't think I'll move to Alabama.
Mm.
I need
He needs a little bit of
I understand.
city life.
humanity.
Yeah.
Now,
But-
you might offend some people that live in Alabama.
Mhm.
Nellie's mom lives in Alabama. It's
All
fine.
right, fine.
Listen, it's lovely. I've been there. It's
I
great.
understand.
Not
you
for
might,
me.
It's not for you to
It's
live
not
there.
for me to
I
live.
get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
As someone who grew up there, it is quite boring. At least the place. I mean, I grew up in a college town, and if you're like not in college or retired, it's
I
like.
get it.
you
But
know,
your
not
mom lives
much
out
to do.
here now.
No. My mom's still in Alabama. She comes to
Okay.
visit like once a month for a
Oh,
week or
wow.
something. Yeah.
That's so nice.
Mhm.
Yeah, she's been very helpful when it comes to
Wow.
helping us have an adventurous life.
That's
Mhm.
good.
Would y'all ever move out of LA?
Yeah, for sure.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll ever leave LA.
I
but
would always want to have a place
We
there.
aspire to
Yeah.
be bi-coastal.
I
you know?
I think that's good. But if
Mhm.
I could do it all over again with kids, I would raise them somewhere else.
I
Really?
don't think our children will be going to school in the Los Angeles school system.
I think that might be good.
I think so.
It's changed a little bit over the years here,
Yeah.
just in a short
know, I
time.
know.
Sure.
What should we talk about before we let you go?
We've already decided you're going to be on second season.
Yep. We're
I'm
on
going to
season
visit
2.
you guys in the South.
Okay.
Mhm.
What else could I say about our show with the housewives? You might see maybe Erica Jane.
Ooh.
Camille's going to be there. Tori Spelling. Has Tori done your show?
Virtually. Long time
virtually.
ago.
Okay.
Long time
She's
ago.
funny.
She's a hoot.
She's a hoot.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's another one with no filter, which I love.
Oh my God, this is gonna be such a good show.
Thank you.
I'm so
And
excited.
it's just we're just crazy, a crazy family.
I
So I'm
can't
like,
wait.
oh shit,
When is
why
it?
are we doing
When is it
this?
premiere?
March 4th.
March 4th.
March
Soon.
4th.
Oh my
Are
God.
y'all gonna? Are you gonna
Bravo.
watch this back?
I had to because I'm a producer,
Oh,
so I had to see the
fun.
episodes.
Do you-
Okay.
and when you say producer, are you allowed to have creative input in post production?
I am. But when I was so happy how they put everything together. They did a great job.
That's
didn't
awesome.
have
And
any
each
notes?
episode is short. We're doing 2 episodes back to back, and we premiere right after The Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Will it be dramatic?
The show,
Yeah.
it's funny. It's more like lighthearted, family, more funny than a lot
Okay.
Love.
of,
I can't wait.
it's silly drama between siblings and myself with being parents
Sure,
and
yeah.
that kind of
Relatable
thing. So,
stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think that some people might be able to relate to it a little bit.
I think I can't wait to watch it.
Thank you.
It's so great to have you on.
Well, thank you for having me.
You're the best. Come back. Can you come back when your season's airing?
Sure.
Talk about it.
Yeah, I would love to.
Yeah.
I don't want
we
to
should do
bother
that.
you, Denise, because I just don't want to
Oh,
overstay
stop.
my welcome.
Okay, I'll bother you and say, can I come on?
Okay, great. Thank you.
Does that work?
Please.
Okay.
Someday, can you come on and just talk like Beverly Hills Hot, like kind
He
of like
wants you to
talk-
come talk shit.
Oh, you mean about
the show?
Let me catch up watching
Catch
the
up.
season.
I would definitely just love your input because like you know these. I've
Yeah,
never really
I'm going
I've
to,
met Kyle for I introduced myself to Kyle for 20 seconds. I've never met Sutton. I've never met Dorit. I've never met Bo. I don't really know, so
Okay, so I'm
sometimes
gonna
I like
catch up.
that because when we talk about them,
Right.
it's like, I don't know, but the more we talk about them, I'd love to get an accurate
Okay, so you must
understanding
be
of
very
who they are.
disappointed and probably like, oh fuck, she didn't even watch this season, and I have so many questions for her.
I was
So
like, oh,
I'm gonna
no,
catch up and I'll
I
watch
didn't,
it.
I didn't have you on to talk
I'm
Housewives. I was
joking.
curious
No,
if you were.
I'm joking.
But
no, I'm
someday
gonna
I would
watch
love
it.
that. Yeah.
and I'll tell you my thoughts. I do think the timing of. Well, I'll watch. I'll catch up.
Well, Denise, so good to see you.
So good to see you
Congratulations
too.
on your new show.
Thank
March
you so
4th,
much.
it's
March
out.
4th on
following
Bravo.
So Tuesday nights,
Tuesday nights.
following Beverly Hills Housewives.
Yep.
Hills Housewives.
I know what a great
It's
Lead
gonna
in.
be So good.
I know. I feel very blessed and
That-
lucky for that.
They must feel very good about this.
I
Bravo.
hope so.
Well, it could be following Roni. That wouldn't be good.
Oh, that's true. This is going to be so exciting. I'm so excited to watch it. It's going to be
Thank
amazing.
you.
Congratulations
Thank
on
you
everything.
so much.
You really crushed Special Forces. We were like, damn,
oh,
she
geez.
killed it.
I wasn't on. If you blinked, I was gone.
But you did some crazy hard, hard challenges.
Do you think,
whatever.
I don't mean this with any disrespect, but do you think Dorit or any of the current cast of Beverly Hills would jump out of a boat onto a helicopter?
I don't.
No.
The only one I think that would probably be Erica.
Yeah, Erica
Oh,
might
yeah,
do it.
she
She's got some balls.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I could picture Erica doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. I
But
can
not
see that
many
too.
housewives. I'm just
Not
saying.
many.
Mad
not
respect,
many on
you know.
Beverly Hills.
That's true.
So,
Mad
but thank you
respect.
for saying that.
Always good to see you.
You
Denise.
too.
It is hard to find the perfect hair products for your hair type. I know I have struggled with it, but thank God I have Way. Way is perfect for any hair type. You can get to the root of your healthy hair goals with Way scalp care that will get your strands looking stronger, fuller, and healthier. Their hair and body products are made to be effortless and work for you and your routine. There are so many products that I love. One of them is the Scalp and Body Scrub. It smells absolutely delicious and it feels so good on your body. You can feel like the dead skin, the dirt, the flakes, all of it just like scrubbing off the second it touches your skin. It's very, very good. They also have an anti-dandruff shampoo, which, listen, sometimes you need a little help, and the anti-dandruff shampoo from Way is so good. It fights flakes and soothes the scalp. They also have a really good detox shampoo, which I love after I've been using a lot of product or hairspray or anything in my hair. If I haven't washed it in a while, the detox shampoo is really, really good. It gives your scalp just a good reset. It's perfect for oiliness, unwanted shine, and flaky or dry scalp. The way to a healthy scalp starts here. Go to theouai.com and use code VIALL for 15% off any product. That's theway.com, promo code VIALL.
This episode is brought to you by IQ Bar. If you are a busy bee on the go and you're still trying to eat healthy and take care of your body, you got to check out IQ Bar. Start the new year off right with IQ Bar's brain and body boosting bars, their hydration mixes, and mushroom coffees. Their ultimate sampler pack includes all three. And right now, IQ Bar is offering our podcast listeners an exclusive deal, 20% off all IQ Bar products, plus get free shipping. The best part of what I love about IQ Bars is their taste and how good they are for you. A lot of times those other bars out there that are that taste good, not so much healthy for you. And then there's like those really maybe healthier options that taste like cardboard. Well, not IQ Bar. That's the best of both worlds. And if you are just struggling, like being busy while eating right, truly IQ Bar will be a game changer for you. Great for traveling, especially, for the kids out there. You can feel good about giving them to your kids and yourself. They come in a bunch of great flavors. Mint chocolate chip, chocolate sea salt, banana nut, toasted coconut are just a couple of their delicious flavors.
Or you can try their IQ Mix, which is a zero sugar drink mix that hydrates with electrolytes, improves mood with magnesium, and boosts clarity with Lion's Mane adaptogen. Comes in 7 refreshing flavors like passion fruit pina colada, lemon lime, peach mango, and blueberry pomegranate. IQ Bar makes the #1 brain and body nutrition bar, hydration mix, and instant coffee in the U.S. Over 15,000 5-star reviews and counting. And right now, IQ Bar is offering our special podcast listeners 20% off all IQ Bar products, plus get free shipping. To get your 20% off, just text FILES to 64,000. Text FILES to 64,000. That's FILES to 64,000. Message and data rates may apply. See terms for details.
Oh, well, we love Denise. Always great to catch up with our queen. Very excited about her show. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have to bring her back with her daughters. I think that'll be a fun dynamic to see them all interact. Up next, we're talking a little Love is Blind episodes 4 through 6, and we have Alex coming up. This relationship between him and Madison was wild.
I'm glad he made the decision he made.
I'm curious how he came to that decision. She seems like a bad breaker-upper.
I mean, I feel like that was somebody that was paying attention to the context clues, because the way that she was talking about the other guy, Mason, it was just like, oh, you're not a nice person.
Well, when she broke up with Mason, and then, I don't know, Mason did the whole thing of like kind of acting like maybe
Alex.
he didn't mean what he said or whatever. I don't know. But like her body language changed so quickly, and she got really upset because she wanted him to be upset.
Yeah.
She wanted him to be hurt and mad. It was definitely not like, I'm glad you have another person and like you should, she wasn't happy for him.
You, and I'm always cheering you on. It was
she
like,
wanted
what
him
do you
crushed.
mean?
Yeah.
You take it back.
Yeah.
So you weren't ever committed to me. It was like an ego shot.
And then when she's talking to Alex, and he's friends with Mason, and just saying, well, I just see both sides. She says, Mason really hurt me. She didn't accuse him of, I assume she means emotionally, but that's like what do you mean? You broke up with him and all he did was this kind of like, as people do when they're getting broken up with or maybe feel a certain way, kind of like maybe just try to take back, feeling kind of embarrassed, opening up. And like that turned into her telling some random person that this guy hurt her?
Well, not only that, she also sabotaged Mason's other relationship and then is playing the victim in the situation, being like, this is what you guys signed up for. Everybody's dating multiple people at this point, or like getting down to like their single person. But she's taking it out like, well, if he was going to choose me, he didn't have real feelings for you. So are you going to break up with him? Like, that was wild to watch.
No, vindictive, scary.
And I feel like it definitely made Meg question everything with Mason, which ended up obviously in both of them just going home, which was sad.
Yeah, because I actually would have liked to see that relationship carry on outside of the pods.
The only thing I'm mad about Alex, and we will obviously ask him how he came to this decision, is this like, I would have liked to see this relationship explode.
You're mad at him for TV purposes, not for his personal well-being.
Not for his mental health or his overall well-being.
Yeah.
For ours.
But like Alex's emotional maturity really fucked us, I think.
Yeah.
Let's bring him up.
Hello.
Alex, how's it going? What a beautiful face.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
Okay.
I'm feeling really good.
Well, we have a lot of questions for you, so we're excited to ask you those. We were just talking about your relationship with Madison. Very proud of you because, watching this back, I don't know if you know this, I'm from Wisconsin, so also a Midwest guy. Watching you, it, in a lot of ways, reminded me of like younger me. And that relationship reminded me of like the type of people I pursued early in life. And so really proud that you seem to pick up on some red flags that were demonstrated. So, for your mental health, you seem to be, make a really sound decision. For TV purposes, we were sad to see this relationship end so quickly. I kind of wanted to see it.
Yeah, you couldn't have like stuck it out a little longer for the vacation.
I went into this experiment and I said, I'm going to be completely authentic to myself, and whatever I honestly feel, I'm going to go with it. And I said, there's no pressure to continue on the show if I don't sincerely feel like it's going to work. And I wanted to be true to myself and not force anything and be that guy that just goes along with it just to be on TV or have an experience. So I was never going to do that. I realized that at the end it wasn't going to work. So I cut it off. No hard feelings about it. But, it is a shame because our story, I feel like, was very interesting and people were disappointed that they couldn't hear more of us. So,
yeah,
it is what it is.
I feel like there could have been more to unpack there, but totally get it. What were some of the things that you started noticing, that maybe stopped you from thinking this was a relationship you could pursue? Because it really seemed like she had landed on you. She was going back and forth between you and Mason. What were some of the things that stopped you from pursuing that relationship?
Well, I guess just to start with, they don't show 99% of what we talk about in the pods. And Madison and I really did have a good relationship. We had a lot of fun in there that they didn't show, really. It was all very, very, very serious conversations. So we had a really, really solid relationship. But I think the main concern that was shown was the lack of communication. I think we both just had very different communication styles, and I was trying to get ahead of that, right? Because I've had issues with that in the past, and I know how important that is and how detrimental to a relationship that can be. And I've had some really, really tough relationships in the past because of that core issue of not being on the same page with our communication. So I wanted to really take that seriously and try to figure out if that's something that we were on the same page or not. And, just some things came up in the pods that just showed that we weren't on that same page. And so I had to make the tough decision to cut it off, I think.
Yeah. Was there anything specific that you can share with us that maybe we didn't get to see that, kind of raised some concerns on your end?
I think definitely the Mason situation, just how that was handled, I don't know, it just didn't really sit right with me. As someone who was bullied, I feel like there was a little bit of bullying going on there with Mason, and I just didn't feel like that was rightfully placed on him. And there was maybe a little more negativity than what was shown coming from Madison, and that's why I kept pushing back and saying I understand his perspective, and I said that so many times, but it was coming from a place of a response to the negativity. And I mean, there were just some other really small instances where it was awkward in the pods because I would say something, she wouldn't respond to it in a way that made sense to me, and that's not saying it was right or wrong. It just showed that we were very different people. And so, I don't know if I can come up with specific examples, but yeah.
Well, it's interesting, when I was watching it there, Madison was doing a lot of things that for me, demonstrated a lot of red flags. It just seemed like she kind of seemed like a bad breaker-upper. She seemed to really want Mason to I felt like she wanted him to be crushed, when she decided to end it with him. And she didn't like his response, and it seemed almost kind of vengeful. She did say something that made me kind of empathize with her, or at least understand her, where she said something to you like, it doesn't matter like how much you fight or whatever, it just matters kind of like how you were, it's always like if you guys
you don't give up and how like you fight through it or
yeah,
something.
and it was just like, well, that makes a lot of sense coming from her, because it felt like this person, all she knows is just conflict and fighting, and it's all about the making up and getting back together, which, when I was 21 was kind of fun, I guess. But like kind of to your point, I imagine that's kind of when you said you had issues with that in the past. If you've ever been in a relationship like that and you've really tried to like reflect and try to have a healthier relationship going forward, you realize that like, yeah, fighting isn't a good thing. And yeah, all couples fight and conflicts do happen, but like I think there are couples that look to fight. And I think there are people who look to instigate drama only to like have the resolution, because the resolution makes you feel like you're coming together. And it really kind of felt like that's the type of relationship that Madison was used to. Is that some of the stuff that you were picking up on?
I mean, yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself. That was very well explained there. I think that is true from what I saw. It seemed like she was very used to conflict. And so was I in my earlier life. And I'm at a point now where I can't handle that. And I don't want to fight. I don't want to have these big, massive blowouts and then make up and everything is fine for a week. And then it's another huge thing. And I can't do that anymore. And so, yeah, I think maybe, I don't know what else I can say about it, because you said it so beautifully.
Do you think watching it back, you kind of like felt really good about your decision, or was there any part of you that was like, maybe I like saw that wrong, and like seeing it from her perspective or seeing a conversation she had with Mason like changed your mind about anything?
I'd say overall, I'm really proud of how I handled everything. I wouldn't change my actions or decisions at all. I think the way that they maybe edited the last date was maybe not as accurate as it was. So I kind of cringed a little bit at that. But no, I don't really regret anything. Again, we were just very different people. We're on different communication styles. And so it just was not the right relationship. And I was not about to force it or, continue it longer than it needed to. I feel like the mature thing to do was to recognize that it wasn't going to work and then end it right away.
Totally. And we totally get that. Like, I'm familiar with how reality TV is made and how you never really get to see a lot of things. But I am curious, you mentioned the last date. What specifically do you remember versus what was aired that made you kind of cringe a little bit?
It felt like I was really, really pressing the fact that I understood Mason's perspective, and which definitely, I mean, I did keep saying though that thing or that line over and over. But again, it was in response to negativity that I feel like was not aired. There was a lot more negativity being said about Mason. And so I was saying, well, I understand his perspective in response to that negativity. And again, I totally understand, her perspective and why she would be negative towards Mason. He did screw up, right? There's no question about it. He screwed up. He said the wrong thing. He didn't handle himself in, the way that I know he wanted to. But also you have to understand that I actually knew Mason better than I knew Madison, because I spend more time with the guys in the lounge than I do with the women in the pods, right? So Mason and I at that point were fairly close, and I knew he was such a genuine good guy, and I just didn't want to see someone talking so negatively about him when I feel like he didn't deserve it.
Yeah, it was tough after her and Mason broke up, hearing her kind of talk shit. I think she called him a clown or something like that, or he said, it felt a little icky, given that she was the one who ultimately decided she didn't want to be in that relationship, given that she kind of came into that breakup with all the power, and I think she left with all the power, and for her to talk shit about Mason just felt so unnecessary.
She also talked shit to his other girl.
Yeah.
So
yeah, how was watching that to see her kind of trying to like ruin that relationship as well between Meg and Mason?
I just thought it was maybe a little manipulative. I didn't see that. All I see is this limited perspective of in the pods with one person at a time. So it was definitely interesting to watch after the fact, after a year, since being there. But it just didn't feel great. And I think it maybe confirmed that I did make the right decision.
Have you and Madison talked since the pods?
Yes, we have talked. I mean, when we got out of the pods, we got back to Minneapolis, and we did talk for a brief time, I would say. And then the same issues kind of just kept coming up, and we realized again that we just were communicating differently, and then we decided to go our separate ways.
When was the first time you saw what she looked like? When you got out of the pods, did you like look her up online, or did you wait to meet her in person?
Basically, the shuttle that took us to the airport, I was sitting in there alone, and we got our phone back. And so I turned it on, and there's like hundreds of notifications. And I went and looked her up on Instagram because obviously, right?
Yeah.
And so yeah, I saw her for the first time on Instagram. And then we met at the airport afterwards. And it was such a crazy experience just to put a face to the voice.
Oh, that's crazy. We have you ever thought about growing a beard?
You know, I have had a beard. You're
a very handsome guy, but you kind of
you would crush a beard. And I say this knowing my husband crushes a beard.
My wife hates my face, and I always thought I was a good-looking guy before I met my wife. But a beard really, you have a sweet face, Alex. You know, it'll roughen you up.
You know, I'll consider it just because of this. You know, I'll try it out.
And the mock neck turtlenecks, do you feel like those are going to make another round in the mix? Or
this was filmed last year, and like honestly, like I don't know if I was fully out of my skinny jean phase last year. So, where are you in that skinny jean journey?
You know, I think I'm on the other end of it now.
Okay.
Oh, congratulations!
Especially after the show. Definitely, you know, I didn't make the best fashion choices. I'll totally agree. But, you know, I did want to stand out a little bit. You know, I wanted to wear something that wasn't just like the gray blazer or whatever that I feel like most of the guys were going to wear. So I did make a choice to, you know, wear the blue turtleneck. And it was definitely
listen. Blue is definitely your color. You look great in blue. I think it was more so just like the commit to the turtleneck that there was lack thereof. You know.
Do we know if there's going to be a reunion? I don't know. You're probably not even allowed to say, or even if you'll be there. But if you do go, if there is one and you do get invited, loose fitted suit, beard, maybe a neck tattoo. I'm kidding.
Oh my god. No, that's crazy.
What do you do for work, Alex?
I do commercial real estate.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Okay.
Were you a fan of the show before you went on?
I really was, actually. So I'm a big fan of psychology. I went to my local community college, and I took every single psychology class that they had to offer just because I'm super interested in how people work and think. And this show, I think, is like one of the most genuine psychological experiments. And it's super fascinating to me. And I've always been interested since season 1. And so I think I was one of the only people that just applied on my own without a producer reaching out to me, just because I was so interested in just the application process alone. I saw they were casting in Minneapolis, and I was like, let me see. I just wanted to see what it was like. And I filled out the questions thinking there's no chance I'm going to get chosen out of tens of thousands of people, and 2 years later, here we are.
That is crazy. 2 years later. Wow.
You still friends with anyone from the cast?
Yes. Mason and I are really close still. So we've traveled quite a bit together. Meg and I are also very close. All the guys, I consider them all brothers to me at this point. So I love them so much. They're such great, genuine, unique people.
How's Mason feeling after watching him and Madison's breakup?
I can't really speak for him, but I think it was a tough watch for all of us in different points. It's really cringe watching yourself on Netflix. My heart was racing the whole time. The first time I watched it, every time I'd come on screen, it was like the most painful experience. And I can only imagine for Mason, with some of the scenes and especially some of the sexual scenes, I can't imagine. I feel for him.
Yeah, it'll all be fine. Yeah, it's people will forget quickly. I thought you carried yourself very well, so nothing to be nervous about. You should be proud of your performance on Netflix, I feel like.
Thank you so much. Yeah. I really appreciate it. And
I'm pissed you broke up with her too soon, but that selfishly as a fan of the show, that was triggering. Yeah. But friend to Fred, you did a great job.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
All right, Alex. Well, thank you for your time. Best of luck, whatever it is you do. And maybe we'll see you on a future Netflix show some other time. There's the beach.
We'll see.
Yeah, there is
Never
the
know.
beach. You never know.
Well, thanks so much. I appreciate this, and this was awesome.
All right, take
thanks.
care, buddy. All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, he seems sweet.
So sweet.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Do you think he could do like a too hot to handle?
He's very handsome.
Very
You definitely
so
see
cute.
like this kind of like that nerdy kid inside him when he was younger that he described, you know, but how old is he?
I think he's like 28. Let me see.
Okay. So he's like an
Well,
adult.
this was a year ago.
No, he's really cute.
Any other I thought what was it, Devin and
Virginia?
Brittany?
Virginia.
Or he ends up with Virginia.
No,
but
I know,
Brittany-
but I thought that I appreciated Devin's willingness to like open up about his ignorance when him and Brittany were having that conversation about her being bisexual. I appreciate his vulnerability just because I think, you know, he has a viewpoint that I think a lot of people have where they have this idea that if someone's bisexual, that somehow like means that they can like switch hit, so to speak. Because he kept asking Brittany, it's just like, well, I just want someone to be with me. And I'm like, well, if she picks you, she will be.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
It's like, what's the...
I'm
like-
glad that finally she was like, I am monogamous.
Yes.
Like whoever I'm with.
Bisexuality and polyamory are not the same thing.
But I think there's a lot of
two
there's a lot of
completely
confusion,
different-
and I,
yeah.
you know, like especially in today's climate, I don't think it's very easy for someone like Devin to like acknowledge ignorant. I mean, that's what it was, and it
Yeah.
wasn't coming from a place of
there was no malice.
malice or anything like that. But you know, I'm sure his point of view was probably triggering for some people, you know, who maybe feel judged or you know for opening up about their sexuality only to have someone like change their, you know, because it did feel like Devin his energy changed a little bit.
It did. If I were Brittany in that situation, it would have made me feel like a very specific type of way having been in that situation
Sure.
before. But also at the same time, it's not like Devin did anything wrong. He just didn't know.
You didn't know.
But it also, like, if I was Brittany, I would have probably done the exact same thing she did, which was like, you know what? Maybe this isn't the right relationship for me. If you know what I mean.
Sure, it kind of it showed that they were just kind of on two different
pages in the
two
world.
different pages, two different kind of
He
stages.
can't
in their
handle
life.
a bisexual baddie.
I will say I am kind of like bored with a lot of these couples. You know, like I can't like
Well-
Monica and Joey. It's
that's
hard to
the-
watch.
That's the problem, though. It's just like the most compelling storylines. I've been into these first 6 episodes, but then all of a sudden we got done, and I realized all the couples
Who we have left are
But I'm also like for
Boring.
now, because I'm like, remembered like a lot of shit blows up during this like honeymoon stage, finally living with each other, like
True.
not being able to separate and seeing their tics and seeing like their antics and how they go about
We'll
things.
see.
Also, the cliffhanger of Taylor and Daniel, like that I'm interested
yeah,
in.
where he
Yeah.
like, especially because he like allegedly followed her on Instagram or whatever, and they have that entire conversation where he's like, I remember Instagram handles. Like, do you think we've met before? She's like, do you like, would you follow me? He's like, no, like I remember Instagram handles very well, and I can see a profile picture with
Yeah.
it.
So
and it
either
was-
he's lying or she's confusing him with someone else, right?
Well,
No, there was that weird moment though during that conversation where he was like, I shouldn't have said that. Or like why did I say that? And then she was like, no, that's not a weird thing to say. Like
yeah.
where I'm like, was it a weird thing to say?
so
Because-
yeah, it could go both ways. I will say his story isn't unbelievable.
No.
You know, we're talking about Minneapolis, St. Paul. Like when I was in my 20s, I lived in Milwaukee. Milwaukee's smaller than Minneapolis, St. Paul. Don't get me wrong, but they're still relatively smaller cities, right? And when you are in your 20s, early 30s, single, you're a working professional, you got a little money, there's like a socialite scene, you know? Like when I was in my 20s you're going out most Fridays and Saturday nights to the bars. There's not that many bars in these cities to go out to. And if you're frequently going out, there's like a group of like young professionals and you all kind of know each other. And if you don't know you don't know everyone, but it's not uncommon for guys and girls in a respective city to like follow people they find attractive, you know, just to like, oh, to someone who shows up on your Explorer page, algorithms feeding you people you know.
That's
live in
definitely
the same city.
believable. I think what's less believable is the fact that he specifically says he has a great memory with Instagram handles and profile pictures.
A lot of people say they are. Chrishell thought she had
That's
great
true.
vibes and was wrong about that. Like
True.
sometimes we're wrong about how
Yeah.
confident we are about things.
I guess it's just it's uber specific to say something that you're like very good at memorize.
Remember.
Memorize
Remem-
it. Sorry.
Remembering.
I like the way
Remembering.
you said it, actually.
What?
She said she liked the way
I
you said
liked
it.
that.
Memory?
We should make that a thing.
I kind of
Memory.
like that too.
Memory.
I also say
Remembering.
heat seater. So
Oh.
Heat seater.
You want me to turn your heat seater on?
I think
It
that's a
sounds right.
better. That's a way cooler.
It rolls off the tongue.
Way cooler thing to say.
Membering should be a new word.
Yeah, I mean, like, it could go both ways.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I think some people are like, watch that scene and be like, oh, guilty. You know, it's like he's projecting or kind of telling on himself. And maybe.
It's a wild accusation, that's for sure. To be like,
Yeah.
I remembered you, we have mutuals, and like you followed me and unfollowed me, which we don't know exactly what they find out because we haven't seen that
Yeah.
yet. But
I agree with you. I'm like, how much time were you spending on this profile to realize that they followed you and unfollowed you? Even if I get like a follow and I'm like, oh, interesting. Let me look at this profile. Like, gone from my memory.
She could be a numbers psycho online. You know, she could really care about who's following and unfollowing
Maybe.
her in
I'll
general.
say right now, I have 277,000 Instagram followers, and I'm following 772 people.
Couldn't tell you.
And
See,
I don't
I
want
don't-
that to
Should I
change.
back
So
Yeah.
unless I'm catapulted.
to
into
Nick's
that.
point too, you could meet people, but what are the odds you're following someone and then unfollowing them?
But I do think people really do, like, to my point of saying the numbers thing, I do think people do like look at, you know, if they're like, oh, I hit 400 and then it's down to 399, like they're going to recognize that. They're going to see that. Like, I do think it's like for people who don't have, when it's easy to see the number change, I do think people notice that.
I think it's her get out of jail free card. I think if she decides she doesn't like him or he's too short.
or she finds out he actually did it.
Yeah.
Oh, he's-
Okay,
would be
he's a
creepy,
cutie, though.
But his whole line, could that not have been, because as Alex was saying, they have so many conversations they don't include. The editors put that in specifically.
Correct.
So it could just be they're trying to create drama between the
Also-
two
For
of
sure.
them.
It-
For a season that is lacking
Yeah.
a lot of drama.
A smoking gun can't be a photo in front of a Christmas tree holding a drink. I feel like that is
It was Chekhov's Instagram
85%
post.
of people on Instagram have a photo from a Christmas in front of a Christmas tree
With
holding a drink.
Yeah. But the thing is, if he did follow her, it invalidates the whole process of you don't know what I look like because you clearly knew what I looked like and knew everything about me, maybe based off of my social media.
Sure, but
account.
it's Minneapolis. So like the show deciding to like do Love is Blind Minneapolis is risking like people being familiar with each other. Again, it's a relatively small city. Yeah, there might be a couple million people there, but again, when they're casting, you know, people in their late 20s, early 30s, you know, you're immediately narrowing it down. They're not going to know everyone, but they're definitely running the risk. Like it's a smaller community, you know, and while they're not going to know people, but like I would not be shocked to find that a lot of people got casted. They all have a lot of mutuals, you know, like the degrees of separation. There's probably not 7, you know, there's probably like 1 or 2, you know, and there was a lot of, after they got out of the pods, it wouldn't be shocking to me. So
Yeah, I do want to see what happens with that storyline come next episode.
I also think Sarah and Ben could have an interesting, I don't know, I'm not completely sold on
Right,
them.
because she has religious parents aren't accepting of like what Sarah's sister, like her sexuality. So that's where I'm kind of like,
I really like this storyline. I'll see where it goes. To me, like I get it. We live in polarizing times. I think Sarah needs to be reminded, you know, that like, you know, she talks a lot about like, I just hope he's willing to learn. I just hope he's willing to learn. You know, it's just like, I hope she's also willing to learn. She's talking about like, oh, I'll get together with him as long as he's willing to learn what I believe in.
I think it's also can be important in a relationship to share similar core values with
For
someone.
sure.
Though.
For sure. And listen, I'm just saying, but if you go in just deciding like, I need this person to be completely aligned with me or else, and if they're willing to learn and like subscribe to everything I believe, then we can work out. And if not, we won't. That's pretty extreme. You know, like Nally and I, we don't agree with everything. We're not checking boxes and making sure that like, you believe this and you believe that. And if we don't believe, then we need to make sure we get on the same page. We just like, sometimes we have differences and we just choose to like not get into it.
I do also think she was not going to give him a second chance after he was like, listen, I'm not really like as educated in this whole stuff as you are, until I think maybe it was Brittany or one of the other women was like, well, if he says he's willing to learn, then that's like, you know, he's willing to learn. Maybe you should give him another shot. So it's like she was ready to like pull the plug just because he wasn't immediately like, hell yeah, we're on the same wavelength. He was just like, oh, I'm not
Well,
there
that's what I'm
quite
saying.
yet.
That's
I haven't.
a pretty extreme point of view. Like, and then my question to her is just like, well, what if he is willing to learn, but you get to a point where he's just like not where you're at?
I think that like non-negotiables, no matter what they sound like to anybody else, if that's something that you stick to or that's something that's important to you, you shouldn't have to sacrifice that either just because of an opportunity.
Listen, we now live in a time where more and more people are having a harder time connecting and getting together. Like, we as human beings desire connection. We desire companionship, whether it's your family, a group of friends, whatever, we need connection. We desire romance. And I think we should embrace people like prioritizing family and like prioritizing connections in front of you. If her and Ben were compatible on a lot of things, that when it comes down to two people spending a lot of quality time together and getting along and communicating effectively about like day-to-day decisions and what they want for themselves, that's a shame that like some people would say no to an otherwise great potential relationship with a lot of points of compatibility. Like, there are people who otherwise would leave a relationship that would really work out, and there's a lot of love and connection there, but like convince themselves that this is a non-negotiable, and they leave something that could otherwise have a lot of potential.
Well, we shall see.
Yeah. Guess we'll watch it unfold.
shall see.
That's why I'm interested to see what happens with them.
Where's the vacation at? Do we know?
Somewhere in Cancun? Or did I make that up?
Usually Mexico. Should we talk a little Beverly Hills Housewives before we get to Chrishell? I don't know why we opened up in Georgia again.
I mean, 10
Well,
episodes in Georgia. It's
Did
crazy.
you catch the B-roll? We didn't talk about it last week, where it's Garcelle and Kyle listening in on Sutton.
That was
And
so
this
funny.
is where they said, this is how we know Kyle's a good actress, because they're like listening behind the door. She runs up the stairs and then she quickly walks out as if she's like, she was just walking down the stairs naturally. And she's like, oh my God, hey.
Yeah.
That's that
They
Halloween.
flash back to it.
That's that Halloween training.
Yeah.
She knows how to hide from Michael Myers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I get that, like, maybe technically it's Sutton's house, but it sure seemed like an invasion of Beverly Hills Housewives into Reba's house. Like, kind of like gossiping and like talking about Reba while Reba was there. Felt a little boo.
I said it from the start, like, I love Sutton's family, but every time they bring in the mothers, I'm like, do we need to?
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
let them rest, please.
We know we were talking last week about, when Bose confronted Dorit or whatever and was talking about all the, like, that PK was allegedly scooping up lawyers. Well, I received a DM from a listener.
Meredith Marks. I received a DM.
Just a listener.
Mhm.
And this listener informed me, I don't know if they have a legal background, but it made sense, that apparently, and I don't know if this is like a nationwide thing or an LA thing or a state-to-state thing, but a common like move divorcees will make is that apparently that if you, like, when you are needing a lawyer, right, you might shop around for lawyers. So you would do like a little meeting, like 5-minute meeting, 30-minute meeting, and kind of like talk about your case, and if you do that, like, you've got dibs, so to speak. So if you go around town and book a bunch of like meetings with all the top lawyers and you get there quickly, that means they can't represent your spouse,
Because they've had a meeting
even
with
if you don't hire them.
Wow.
So you basically like, hey, I'm getting divorced. My wife and I are separated. I'm not sure, like, I might need a lawyer. So you book a bunch of meetings with all like the top 10 law firms in Beverly Hills.
And then Dorit comes in and they're like,
Sorry, we
we've
already met with your husband.
Spoken to PK.
And even if PK hires none of them or one of them, then like,
That's maniacal.
apparently this is what the, I don't know
That's crazy.
if that's accurate, but it makes sense
does
based
make
on what
sense,
Bose was
yeah.
saying.
I've heard the opposite, but that does make sense. That like these meetings, and just from experience with my parents and people that have parents that are divorced, like these meetings, like you pay for these meetings. Like it could be short or whatever, but it costs to do that. And then it's whoever's going to be paying the most to have you on retainer for the divorce.
Interesting.
Because a lot of these lawyers also can mediate, I believe. But
Well, I once again, I'm waiting for the time I disagree with Bose.
Yeah.
I want to be her friend.
She's on the money.
I wish Sutton would have said, I have been sitting in your living room for 45 minutes. And like, then you're going to say something about my drinking. Like, yeah, I'm out of here. Like, I wish she would have called out how long she'd been sitting there. Maybe she wasn't aware. Maybe that was like just editing, doing a great job. But waiting alone for 45 minutes in someone's house, like at a party, at an event, is crazy.
Yeah, well, but would you just sit there and wait? Would you reach out to your friend? Hey, I'm down here, or you want me to come up? Like, clearly they're not the best of friends or even that close, but like their camera's there. There's people in the house.
I'd go upstairs and knock on that door.
I just, it felt a little performative of Sutton to do what she did, but maybe
If I walked into a house and it was a jump house with little kids I didn't know, and I was like, where
and
am I?
there's
First
no
of all?
one in the house.
Oh,
You
I
do
mean, if
not
it
see
was a
Dorit. You're like,
stranger, for
hello, hello. And no one's saying anything. And so you just sit there on your phone, like, and then 45 minutes pass. Like, I'm sorry.
And she
I am
comes down and
leaving.
ignores you. I'd be like, okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
I thought everyone was off their rocker this episode,
Yeah.
except for Bose. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, Dorit. Well, I don't know what was that whole moment when she's like, "I'm going to keep this bag." Like, what?
That was the craziest moment ever.
The montage of photos on the center table when you first entered during a party when you're
Bonkers.
actively in the middle
Weird.
of a divorce, and then the bag thing. I was like, what is happening?
And I didn't even really agree with Dorit about the whole like bitch comment. And like, it really felt like Dorit was instigating this whole thing. The whole bag thing was her instigating Sutton. I did think Sutton was a bit performative with like sitting there alone, but like clearly that is rude for Dorit to do.
What else
and,
was
like,
she gonna
not-
do? Go and chat with like the kids going down the inflatable slide? Like, no, she did what anyone would do when you walk somewhere and you're uncomfortable. You sit on your phone. That's exactly what she
Okay.
did.
All right. Well then, fine. Dorit was off her rocker there.
I still don't think anything warrants calling somebody a bitch in their house
No,
in the middle of
you're
a party,
right.
though.
But I think Sutton was wrong for that. And then it's just like, Sutton's like, I'm going to leave. It's like, okay, leave.
Go.
Don't sit at her front door and have your posse come to console you
Mhm.
and take up half the party so that when Bose comes and be like, y'all being rude. And they were being rude. And Sutton, if you want to go, go. But like, you don't need to have Garcelle and Kyle and this whole like, little posse talking about whether you should stay or should go, then it becomes rude.
If that's the case, like if this were me and you're insulting my drinking or like I'm already ready to go, the Uber is getting called before I even like retort back to you.
Yeah.
It's like the idea that you're like walking in, you just got mad at Kyle a couple of episodes ago from storming out and walking out of arguments. You're doing the exact same thing, but you didn't even go out the front door. You sat in their foyer and was like, everybody, like, this is just really hard on me. Like, this is not your party. Grab your posse, go grab a drink down the street.
I think Garcelle hates Bose. I think Garcelle was used to kind of getting away with whatever she wanted to say and calling out Dorit for some of the stupid things she said. And like Dorit was always on an island. And even if some of the things Dorit said were a little ignorant, I don't think it ever came from a place of malice. But I think Garcelle was in a position to really like give her the business anytime like Dorit stepped in it. And now she has Bose to defend Dorit and have her back. And Bose is more than capable of like, doesn't matter that she's new, doesn't matter that she can stand, Bose can have everyone disagree with her and she'll be calm, cool, and collected. And it's driving Garcelle fucking insane.
100%. And Erica called it out perfectly too. She was like, okay, so wait, we have a problem when Bose does this for Dorit, but you are always speaking for Sutton.
It does make me so mad though that they don't say that stuff in person, like in the moment. I'm like, I get that you filmed this a couple months later. You're supposed to like put yourself back in that scenario, but it's like you couldn't have been sitting there and be like, Garcelle, like you speak for Sutton constantly, and like now you have a like I just wish sometimes they would say these things.
I imagine they're being reminded by producers
Totally.
of some of the hypocrisy their castmates have said.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh yeah, you're right. She does do that shit. And then Kyle, like when she was going at it with Bose and like painting herself as some victim of as Bose. First of all, Kyle, it's your show basically, right? You're the queen bee. You're the OG. Like you are this bright light of this ensemble cast. Bose is new. Doesn't not friends with anyone, and you're accusing her of not welcoming you, Kyle? That's seems a bit out of touch. And then to bring up PK while sitting next to Dorit as evidence as to like Bose's mistake, while like, so you should have blocked him. Like she was on Mars in that
and then
moment.
to look at Dorit and be like, oh, I'm talking to Bose. I'm not. And she's like, you said my husband's name.
What
Like
the
what?
fuck? Like that was wild behavior. That was
She called Bose Judge Judy.
that was
Crazy.
For calling you out twice.
Yeah.
No, Bose just calls it like she sees it. I love it when what did Bose say? She doesn't need to be led. Basically, she's not a follower.
Yeah.
Right. Like, and that's so true. She's not. Like, and it drives Kyle and Garcelle and Sutton crazy because like, they don't want to think, they want to accuse Bose of like, riding, Dorit, because like, picking a different sides when the truth is, and we all see it, is like Bose truly just calls it like she sees it. She's no bullshit. She's got a great sense of like character. And
she's given all of the women a fair shot.
Fair.
Like, and spent time with them individually. I think Dorit was the most coming with like what's going on in her life and opening up and made it very easy for Bose to open up. But outside of that, she's given all of the other women a chance. And yet,
And she doesn't hold grudges.
no, not at all. And that's what she said. She's like, I'm calling out what I see right in front of me because she doesn't have preconceived notions. She knows nothing about you women outside of what you're showing her.
I just like to see Garcelle, Kyle, and Sutton just kind of like glitch because like they just don't know what to do with someone who's so calm and capable of standing up to them, and they're kind of their bullshit and their kind of manipulation of the shit they do when things don't go their way is some of the best television on Beverly Hills Housewives I've watched.
I just
awesome.
loved Garcelle being like, she's a little sensitive right now after the coffee and vodka. And I was like, Garcelle.
But also, like,
I love both of y'all, but
but also, like, wasn't Kyle the one who led that charge? Like, why aren't you mad at Kyle about that?
100%.
Also,
was-
I haven't heard the word douche in I don't know how long.
It's been a while.
And Dorit
Awesome.
saying it.
she took a second to say it too. I was like, that's the word we
She had to-
chose.
In her
yeah,
little
it was like her
accent.
brain froze and she was like,
You're being
douche.
douche. It's
was
awesome.
Dorit was really on one though. Like it was, I didn't really understand.
She kind of did have like a crazy twitch in her eye this episode.
I don't know. I just feel like this is why like Bose is like kind of protective of her, is that it's just like we all do know that she's going through so much and she's just showing
yes.
up every day, and even seeing the state that her house was in and Kyle being like, oh, she's like OCD clean, and the fact that things are in boxes and it's messy, that I'm like, she's got a lot going on her plate, let alone raising her kids and trying to be okay, that it's like to have to come into this group with these women. It's nice to have somebody in your
I just
corner
wish
for
Dorit,
once.
instead of, and maybe, you know, she's not thinking with a clear head, she's going through it, and that all makes total sense. Like, she definitely deserves grace. But I just wish she would have, instead of like trying to steal Sutton's handbag and acting like she had like rights to
so
it,
weird.
just be like, hey, listen, last time I saw you, you really hurt my feelings because you really dismissed me, like when I was just being vulnerable, talking about like my terrible divorce and how it's affecting my fucking kids.
Yep.
And you just like, you didn't give a fuck. Just say that.
She
Doctor.
did say sorry in the moment.
No, she didn't.
Sun said, we have to go. Sorry. We have to go.
Great callback, Justin.
That
Just
is
saying.
true.
Yeah.
I also will say I have pulled that joke before of being like, oh my God, that's a huge Chanel. Like, do you want me to take it off your hands and I can take it home? But the way that Dorit was like straight stone cold, would not release her grip on that bag, was like almost left her house with it, was crazy. And the awkwardness, everyone was just like,
It's also a $29,500
No.
bag. So it's like
What?
It's a
What?
30 grand bag.
It's a $30,000 bag. The
the
range
mini Kelly is
the
30,000.
Mini Kelly that I'm looking at is 29, the same one, 29,500, or else the pink one's 32,000. But even then, I love that she's like, your insults and everything equate to.
Yeah.
You guys, can I
gotta
be
say,
honest?
That preview
That
for
looks like
next
something you
week
could
with
get at
Sutton
Marshall's.
basically being like, I have more money than you.
Oh, that's not going to go over well.
I just have an issue when people spend $30,000 on something that's kind of ugly.
It's an investment.
It's an
Well,
investment.
Art is
guess.
subjective, Mary.
Yeah.
I guess,
you
but
know.
Are you mad at the people that bought the banana duct taped
Oh.
at the
Yeah.
Sotheby's, or
There
do you
you
understand
go.
that as art? Fashion is art to some people.
Oh.
I understand. I would not spend $30,000 on the banana. However, I do think it's funny, and so I'd love a good bit.
I was going to say the banana, I think, is in the millions.
The bit.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. See, a bit not worth the millions. I support spending money on a bit, but as far as, and let's say if I had $30,000 to spend on a bag, I'll spend it on a bag. But
That's the point.
I
Yeah.
know.
Some
Yeah,
girls
I
getting
mean,
$300,000
yeah.
a month.
I'm
I
just
know. I
saying
just saw
next
that
week-
bag and I was like, it's kind of boring.
We'll see what happens and what context it's aired in. But when you start like flexing your cash,
I'd go Jennifer Tilly with it and make
either
it dumb.
way, but like same thing. It's just like you're just being like, it's just a competition of who married smarter.
Yeah.
Marry smarter, not
Because-
harder.
And I guess, but like, you know, Sutton's wealth does come from her husband.
Well,
What do you mean wealth?
she helped make that money.
She built his empire.
And it's worth $500,000 a month.
Look, I'm not the forensic.
Probably worth more. She got the short end of the
Investigator.
stick with
Yeah.
$300,000 a month.
Well, listen, she has a right to say it's her money. She obviously has more money than all of us, but like,
He's probably like he's like farting out $300,000 a month. Like that's fucking nothing
if
to
you
him.
could just give that away a month, how much are you making a
You know,
month?
no,
literally,
he's
like, please.
yeah, he's fine. I mean, like I'm just saying, but it's not the flex. You know, you're trying to hurt someone's feelings. Let's be clear.
Oh,
She was
agreed.
trying to hurt Dorit when saying this. You know. Meanwhile, again, while someone's going through divorce, which must be a very scary time, especially if you are someone in Dorit's position, because it's like Sutton doesn't have a care in the world. She's just $30,000 bag. Like, I don't know. Erica Jane doesn't live in the same house she used to. You know what I'm saying? That's a shift. We've been critical of Erica, but like what she has reinvented herself and to adjust and to go from a mansion of opulence and wealth to like, it's, say what you want and fine, maybe we don't have sympathy for people with money or whatever. And she, obviously Erica still has a very charmed life, but like that is an emotional shift and that is hard to do. And some people make some very terrible and drastic decisions when they lose all their money or when their life drastically changed. God forbid, like people like take their own life, crazy shit like that when tragedy like that happens. And so for Dorit to be going through something like this and not really knowing what her future looks like and Sutton to be flexing her husband's cash in her face is a choice.
We'll see how the scene airs. But I do wish Sutton and Dorit were like united on this front of like Sutton's experienced it before.
It was nice to see Kyle and Dorit have a moment at the end.
That did feel weird though, didn't it? The way Dorit was answering, what did she say? She was like, "What do you mean? We have to live."
Yeah,
But she just kept repeating it in like a weird like.
Yeah, that was weird.
I just wish, Sutton's, I know you love her, but she has a lot of great qualities, but she can be a real big hypocrite.
Aren't we all?
Aren't we?
Some more than others.
All right.
Some more than others. All right, is it time to get to Chrishell?
Let's do it.
All right, up next, your favorite Selling Sunset character, Chrishell Stause, is with us, also formerly of Traitors. Joins us next to catch up with what's going on in her life, her time on Traitors. Let's get to the vibes.
We all know him and we all love him. Helix Sleep is the best mattress to walk the planet Earth. They do. They walk.
Before we got a Helix mattress, we were like many of you, tossing and turning, restless nights,
Achy and
back pain sometimes. It's like, oh my God. But then we got a Helix mattress and our life changed.
Our life truly changed. Helix mattress is recommended by multiple leading chiropractors and doctors of sleep medicine as a go-to solution for improving your sleep. It is so easy to find a mattress that fits perfectly for you. They have a lineup of 20 unique mattresses. All you have to do is take a quick online quiz about how you like to sleep, on your back, on your side, on your stomach, on your face, on your butt, on your toes. Whatever you like to do, Helix Sleep has a mattress for you. They even give you a 100-night trial and a 10 to 15-year warranty to try out your new Helix mattress. We have them everywhere.
Well, and they have a special sale for this President's Day. Helix is exclusively offering our listeners the best offer available, better than you'll find on their website. Go to helixsleep.com/VIALL. Helix is offering 27% off site-wide plus 2 free Dream Pillows with mattress purchases plus a free bedding bundle. 2 Dream Pillows, sheet set, and a mattress protector with any Luxe or Elite mattress order. That's helixsleep.com/VIALL for 20% off site-wide plus 2 free Dream Pillows with mattress purchases plus free bedding bundle. 2 Dream Pillows, a sheet set, and a mattress protector with any Luxe or Elite mattress order. helixsleep.com/VIALL. Are you sick of using over-the-counter chemical-filled medicine? Are you looking for all natural alternatives for day and night syrups to soothe a scratchy throat or maybe a non-drowsy, non-habit-forming nasal spray to ease your seasonal symptoms? Well, Beekeepers Naturals has made it their mission to reinvent the medicine cabinet. It's cold season out there. People are catching stuff. It's sniffly time. And listen, no one wants to be hopped up on some of those chemical-filled medications. And it's great to have an all-natural alternative like Beekeepers Natural.
Beekeepers Naturals merge modern science with natural medicine to create clean, effective products that actually work. With their hero ingredient, propolis, the medicine of the beehive, Beekeepers Naturals delivers antioxidants, vitamin C, iron, B vitamins, and uniquely beneficial compounds that support immune health. A powerful combination of plant, tree resin, and enzymes made by bees. Propolis defends your immune system, supports full body health, and fights oxidative stress with antioxidants.
Remember when Beekeepers Naturals bee pollen went viral? It's finally back in stock. Get it before it sells out again. It supports energy levels and whole body health. Nature's multivitamin delivers bioavailable nutrients that your whole body needs.
They also have a really great day and night cough syrup and a nasal spray that works wonders. Today, Beekeeper Natural is offering you an exclusive offer. Go to beekeepersnaturals.com/VIALL and enter code VIALL to get 20% off your order. That's BEEKEEPERSNATURALS.com/VIALL or enter code VIALL.
But can we try not to get in trouble today, please?
What's to get in trouble?
Every time I
nervous?
leave here, there's some headline.
You've been avoiding the show for a while.
I know, because last time there were all these headlines, and I was like, oh my God, what did I say?
What did you say?
I don't remember.
I think, to be fair, they picked up Nick's
Is
water
this your
fast.
first time in the studio?
In this one, yes. So
And then you were in the one.
I'm going to be on my best behavior.
What did you say? They got.
I don't remember. I don't know, to be honest with you. I just remember being scared of doing your podcast for a while.
You definitely were. I was like, you got to come on. You're like, for sure.
But I love when I run into you. It's not that. It was just,
No, I know.
Anyways, it doesn't
All
matter.
right, it's good to have you back, Chrishell.
Hello.
It's weird
Good
not
to be
having
back.
headphones on. Are we even rolling? Are we even here?
Yeah,
It's like
are we
It
rolling?
looks like it did a
Is it?
forest fall.
Okay.
We are rolling.
Okay.
How have you been? So good to have you back. I'm glad that you're no longer afraid to come on.
I'm sorry. No, it's good to be back. I love seeing you. It's just, podcasts can be scary.
Yeah, but I mean, not really. I don't know. They can be, but you're a reality TV star. Which what was that? I read something. You posted it. Like basically, who did that article? Was it a really nice piece? You posted it.
Oh, Vanity Fair.
Vanity Fair.
This is the one I just did.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I think they credited you for basically all of Netflix reality TV success.
I didn't pay them to say that, but it was very nice.
I was like, Conjuro, you were the first.
It was very sweet.
What do you think is the recipe to your success?
I don't think it, to be honest with you, it's by accident that it's all kind of worked out because I didn't pursue reality TV. So I've had people come up to me and be like, what should I do? But I don't think the same thing would work because I was always kind of fighting against it until I finally accepted it and then kind of dived in. So because I thought Selling Sunset was going to be like a reality show about real estate and me pursuing a new career, I fully thought it was a different show. So I think it worked because no one really knew what it was and it was completely something different. And so then we, and now of course I know what it is, but yeah. I don't know what the formula is. Get a bunch of unsuspecting, naive people together.
Think they're talking about real estate, but didn't share
Yeah.
pieces of your life.
We talked about this the first time you came on the show when you were on Dancing with the Stars, but and you probably know, Chrishell and I were supposed to do a movie together.
Oh no, I did not know that.
Yeah, I was supposed to play her crazy boyfriend from the past or something. It was like a lifetime. You did this movie. Did you end up doing that movie? And
No, I didn't.
You didn't. It was supposed to film in Buffalo, New York or
No,
something?
wait, I did do that one.
Did you do that one?
Oh my gosh. Yes. Sorry. Yes, you're right. Yes, I forget the actor's name, but
How'd that turn out?
It's called Staged Killer. And you can still watch it on Amazon.
Really?
Yes, or Hulu or one of those. I think it's Amazon.
I got offered the role, and I didn't know. This is long before Selling Sunset. It was like so and so's wife. I was like, oh, cool. She seems nice. Whatever. And then I just.
You would have been the crazy person.
Yeah, I was going to be the bag.
Are you fine doing that?
It looked like a lot of fun. I just felt like maybe this wasn't it just didn't feel like it was for me.
Yeah.
You
really missed out on a blockbuster, Nick.
I should go back. What's it called again?
Staged Killer.
Staged
Everyone's
Killer.
seen it. I'm kidding.
So can I see, there's a movie poster? Are you in the movie poster?
I think so. Oh, look at that.
Who's the guy?
That would have been you
That
right
would've been
there.
me.
I can see a little resemblance.
Yeah, I'm sure, I feel like this is one of those, how sometimes it's almost, it feels like it's rude in the actor world to talk about roles you turned down because it's somehow disrespectful to the person who ended up playing this role. So I don't want to disrespect.
I don't think that was disrespectful.
Yeah,
He was
but-
a lovely guy. But
Turns out we ended up being
yes.
friends anyways.
There you go.
And now we're in the reality TV space.
I know.
Do you think you'll ever act again?
Yeah, actually, so I did a little cameo in a holiday movie this last holiday season for Netflix called Hot Frosty. It was very small. However,
And as Chrishell Stause or
no, I was just playing like a mom with this cute little girl. We were walking into the diner. It was very quick. You blink, you miss it. However, I've had some really great conversations since then, and we are working on doing something in a better, bigger capacity, which would be amazing. So we just have to get the schedules.
Do you
to-
like the holiday Christmas genre?
I do. I love holiday Christmas
the
genre.
Hallmark kind of
I also love horror.
Okay.
genre. So those, oddly enough, are so opposites, but I love both, and I'm pursuing both.
Oh, fun.
So yeah. Sometimes the stuff I have, one that came across was right when we were in the thick of Selling Sunset, so I couldn't do it, but it would have been so fun. So it's just kind of trying to find the things that work with schedules.
Right.
Okay. Speaking of Selling Sunset, where are we in the franchise? Are you guys filming, or is there anything going? Are you allowed to say anything?
Yeah, we're filming season 9 currently.
okay.
It'll be out later this year. Yeah, I know. I know this isn't a
9
fun
seasons.
answer.
Man, that's crazy.
I know.
Addicted.
Does it come out more than once a year? Has it?
No, I mean it has in the
'Cause
past.
it hasn't been. I mean, I haven't been doing this show for that long.
It has in the past come out more than once a year, but I think we're kind of like on a it switches up. I don't know.
You're on a yearly basis now.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yes, we're filming season 9. Currently, it will be out later this year.
Last season, there was some toxicity going on in the group a little bit. Was that fair to
That
say?
really set that one season apart from all the other. But
Are
yes.
there any storylines that, again, I don't know what you can and cannot talk about, but is there reconciliation at all with any of the women, or are there are there more fights? Where like you've been, where do you stand with everyone right now? Because there was that whole honestly, remember what was
It was Chelsea.
No. We have a mutual enemy.
We do.
Oh my god.
I mean, I'm joking when I say enemy.
Still.
Enemy for wasting my goddamn motherfucking time.
Oh shit.
Who?
Your arch nemesis.
Nicole?
Yes. Thank you. She was supposed to come on, and it was like her first season on.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know, she was caught up in whatever drama you were going on. And I'm
That
like,
she started, but yes, go ahead.
either way, you didn't want to come on, so we were gonna have Nicole, and she flaked twice, last minute, and it was I didn't.
It's not surprising even because
And it was all this high maintenance, and she messaged me back and forth, and it was all this, and it was it was just
It's because if you can't keep your story straight, imagine the worst place to go.
Right.
The one thing I have to say you're really good at, if a story started to be convoluted, you
If
would have
you're
been
lying,
asking exactly. So I
wouldn't come on the show if you're lying.
Exactly. And so I am sad she didn't come because it would have been very entertaining to watch you easily deconstruct the lies, but that's why she didn't show up.
Okay.
Is she on this season?
A little bit.
Okay. Do we have any new cast members?
With the show, I think they're always trying to see what works and what doesn't. So it is sad for some people because they're like, oh my gosh, a new cast member. But that doesn't mean that on our show. They just let people come in. They see how it works.
Right.
So I never personally know, even though we filmed with some people, who's going to make the show.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think this will be the last season?
I always think this is going to be the last season.
When they call you up, and you're like, really? Again?
I'm like, wow. I'm. It's a huge honor. It's it's flattering. But yes, I'm not gonna lie. 9 seasons is a lot for a Netflix show. So
Just for a reality show in general.
yeah.
This I'm not expecting you to answer.
Okay.
It's even rude for asking. But how much do y'all make on there? I mean, I'm curious.
I mean, they're selling houses.
I've never thought of that before.
Oh,
Like,
they don't get. I'll give you a little nugget of information. They don't get a cut of our commission when we sell houses. So when people
That
are
would be
always like,
fucked
"You
up
don't
if they
really
did."
sell houses, right?" I'm like, "No, I'm not saying everyone does. They can choose to or not. But I'm just saying it is amazing to be on a show about doing something where they can't get a cut of our commissions of the."
It's some of your houses. I mean,
I know. So I'm
Yeah.
just saying, why wouldn't you want to really use it for that,
hell yeah.
purpose?
Yeah, yeah.
Why would you purposely not want to make the most money you could while you're doing
The
it?
only reason that question came to mind because, well, one, most reality TV shows don't last 9 seasons, and if they do, it's not with the same cast.
Right.
I mean, you guys have had some turnover, but a lot of you remain the same, and so that's just after you're around for 9 seasons, it's you want me back or not? So
I did, yes.
hats off to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Truly.
I'm wearing better shoes than I was in here the first time I did your podcast.
The bottom's red.
Not today, but only because my foot is not narrow enough
Okay.
to pull those off.
All right. And what are those called again?
Louboutins.
Not.
Christian Louboutins, not
See,
Louis
I thought-
Vuitton.
I learned this. I think in the past 12 months that they're not Louis Vuitton.
In the past month.
Past month.
Oh,
They
okay.
kept going the Louis Vuittons. And
I can understand that it is similar. And I remember
And now, what did they look like visually different? The spelling?
Loubitan, and then it's Louis Vuitton, which is first and last name.
it
Your wife
honestly.
will take either.
And does Louis Vuitton sell pumps?
Yes.
Yes.
And what are those? And what are
Louis
the?
Vuitton's known for bags. Christian Louboutin known for shoes.
Okay.
But Louis Vuitton does also carry shoes.
And
then
vice
the other-
versa.
and vice versa.
And in case you didn't hear me, your wife will accept either.
Gotcha.
Doing my job.
Wow, that's great
She has
work
enough.
right there. Well done.
Thank you.
Traitors. So much fun,
So much fun.
except for your vibes.
I know.
Your vibes.
I know.
Your
Let's
vibes
just
are
get out
off.
of the way. I know. I agree.
It's all fun and games. Who cares? Although some people watch the show forget it's a game.
They take
Like-
it very seriously.
And are you referring to your castmates or the fans? or
Well,
both?
I just think, I get it. The show's so fun to watch, but I just mean like there is a fandom out there that takes it very, very seriously.
Game.
But I do think, in the moment when we're filming it, everyone is the same. We're taking it very seriously. You're hoping once you leave the castle, you can kind of have some fun with it because
Yeah.
it is a game at the end of the day. But yes, I can look back at, that was the worst moment of me on the Traitors was, picking up the wrong vibes from Nikki. And I, to this moment,
That was hilarious.
I know. She was homesick. So I picked up on that. But if I could change one thing, I do think that mortally hurt my confidence in the game going forward. Because then I was so afraid to be wrong because I did want to
Yeah,
speak
that
up
makes sense. Yeah.
at one point and I decided not to because
What was
of
that moment?
the last roundtable I was at, I had already talked to a couple people about Danielle. And of course, now watching the show, I'm like, I picked the worst people I could have tried talking to about that. But at the roundtable, I was like literally like, should I say something? Should I say something? Because it was all about Rob and Brittany. And I really didn't feel comfortable voting for either. And I'm just kicking myself. Of course, afterwards, coulda, woulda, shoulda.
Was Nikki like pissed?
I don't think she was pissed. I think, in the moment she would obviously be hurt and I completely get that. But then she said once she got out of the castle, she was so excited to see her son and we're friends. It's
I can see how it's easy. I mean, shit, like I'm a competitive person. I don't know if you are either, but like I've gotten mad losing Monopoly. So like I can imagine, a friend
I know.
voting you off. Again, it's still a game. Like you have to, it's
I
at the end of the day, like there are no teams.
And I think that was the thing where it felt like, again, like at the time, if you put your brain where my brain was at the time. So Bob the drag queen just got, just left and was banished. And then I picked up that Nikki was admittedly homesick because, she had a small boy at home at the time. So it's like, that makes sense. But I tied the two together.
Right.
Bob's left. It must be so much harder for her to do it without him because they were so close. And then I picked up that. And then that's why when I saw her make that face. Anyway, let's just. That was a shitty play. I picked up on the wrong thing. But listen, there's a lot of times people do the same thing, but they don't get as much heat about it.
Sure. I mean, like Dylan's been wrong. I don't know how many times,
but but Dylan is like this hot, very likable guy. It's a lot easier to like listen. It's just the way the world is.
Well, Nikki did call in and she said that she wasn't upset with you. And she said that you called her as soon as you got out of the castle and apologized and whatnot. But she said very, very sweet things about you and your friendship.
I love her. I love Nikki. I think she's such a badass. That was obviously, I will never hear the end of it. And happily the first person to constantly say like, God, I messed that one up. It was hard for me to watch that.
Where do you and Tom Sandoval stand today? Have you guys mend any fences?
We haven't.
That's a feud I really love, to be honest.
Yeah, I know. It does
fun.
make for entertaining television.
And is it real or are you guys just giving him a hard time?
I mean, to be honest with you, I think that in the game it was real because I felt like he like tried to get me out of the castle from a personal. I had an off-camera conversation with him because I wasn't sure if he knew about the connection or not. And then when we were on camera, and right as soon as we left, he started telling everyone I was a traitor. So I thought he used a moment where we're not supposed to talk about game. I told him that, and he used it against me in the game.
So he was kind of like, hey, you kind of went up to him and you were like, listen, just I'm friends with Ariana. Like I just transparently just kind of letting you know.
We're not even like, I mean, I love her, but we're not. It's not like we're calling each other best friends or anything like that. It kind of came up in conversation.
I mean, when I was on Special Forces with Tom, I didn't know, I hadn't really met him. And I was like, hey, I know who you are.
Yeah.
I have a show. I've talked a lot of shit, because I didn't want to be like a wolf in sheep's clothing. I didn't want to like, I kind of try to explain, we have a show. I didn't really know you. I don't know you, but like, I look forward to getting to know you and yada, yada. But it's completely different show. Like you're supposed to unite and come together and Traitors literally is not supposed to trust anyone. So,
and because I knew that I didn't actually like do anything for him to like have picked up on, it just felt like, oh, okay, he took this 1 second conversation I had off camera where the one thing is you can't speak game. So I thought, I really didn't think that was going to factor into anything. But anyway.
And when you say off, like, so when you're talking off camera, you say the rules are you can't really talk about what's going on in the show.
Right.
You can talk about, like, I don't know.
And at the time, the Traitors hadn't even been
or something. But.
Yeah, and the Traitors hadn't even been chosen yet, so it was a little more lax about we're literally
Gotcha.
I think miking up or something. I don't even know.
Gotcha.
Like
Okay.
it wasn't it really wasn't supposed to be like something that I thought went any further than that. I thought it was more like, hey, like I hope this isn't awkward because I wasn't sure if he knew that or not. And then again, so long story short, in the castle, then I felt like he made it personal. So as soon as now we're out of the castle, it's like it is what it is. I don't really care.
Did you get to know him at all?
I don't. When you say get to know him, Tom only speaks about himself.
Yeah.
So yes, I heard him speak about himself a lot, being in the same room with him.
Okay. Was he always sweaty?
In the castle, which was very cold. Yes.
We got a chance to interview Sam a couple weeks ago, and I kind of fell in love with him. I don't know what I think he's. I said to him, I think everyone knows who you are, and no one knows who you are, because like we all know him as like the ex of, Brittany, this massive icon. We only knew what we thought or heard or assumed, and I was really impressed by, just who he was and chatting with him. But like, what was your opinion of, when you first met him, were you kind of like me, where it's just like, who is this guy? And then you find out who he is and you kind of wonder, there's so many questions. Like, what was that like for you?
Yeah, I think it was the same thing. I think that there was, there's a group of girls, if you can tell from watching the show, like it really did feel like, there's a lot of girls in that castle. So we were a little standoffish with Sam at first, because I was part of the Free Britney movement. But that being said, you also don't know like anything about what, this is all just like headline stuff. You don't know what's real, what isn't. And then the when I actually worked a challenge with him, we were moving our heads up and down the thing. He helped me in that moment and was just very lovely and was selfless and not trying to get his up there and just like was helping other people. So that was the first time I clocked like, oh, that was really sweet. That was really lovely. So he kind of kept to himself, but we didn't, I think Ion was very funny before she left. She was like trying to get the tea and kept asking him questions. But yeah, so
That's such a shame she got voted off so early.
I know she's so funny. But yeah, it's not like we spend a lot of time together outside of what it is.
So you liked what you learned, but
But he seemed, very lovely, but also just kind of reserved.
There was when Danielle killed you or exiled you or whatever, she said to you, no one was going to vote you off. So basically saying like, everyone knows you're a faithful. Did you agree with her? And what do you think she meant by that? I'm really fascinated. And I think who did I ask? I think I asked Rob this too, because there seems to be some people where like everyone, including the Traitors, is just like, we know they're a faithful, which is interesting because how do you know anyone's anything? If you don't know who the Traitors are, then how do you know who's definitely a faithful? And I am curious what you think she meant by that and if you agreed.
I understand the critique because I think, going into it, your goal is to prove that you're a faithful, but you almost can't overdo it because then you'll be up for murder. So I did it too late, but I should have implemented my plan a night before where I was going to let it leak that I actually was an actor and then act like I didn't want people to know that, so that it kind of like made a couple of flags go up. Because basically if you're seen as a full faithful, you almost have to constantly be gauging your game. So it's just one of those things. Yes, I do think I was too faithful. I feel like everybody kind of knew that I was, and that's not a good thing in that game.
I get the problem of almost being too faithful, but because like I could picture, I don't know, like if I'm on that show with you, let's say I was on this season with you, right? Okay. I would have been like, if I'm thinking going in, who would they pick to be the traitor? You would be on the top of my list.
Really?
Like, well, you're obviously a lovely, nice person, right? Like easy to be around. People enjoy your company. You're popular, but you're smart. And you're very like sophisticated and
that's very sweet. I don't think I came across as that smart this season. They cut a
the
couple
vibes
of the
definitely
times. I'm like,
you,
come
for
on,
sure.
guys, can you leave that in? I was definitely.
But I know you enough
Danielle's
to know
name.
that you're smart, and I know that like But I guess, and I don't know what everyone else thought about you, but clearly whatever you did, you were like, everyone's like, yeah, well, she's definitely a faithful. And I'm just curious, what did you do to make everyone, even so much so, believe that you're almost too faithful?
I think because in that very beginning, I had Tony and Tom kind of saying my name. And so from the start, I really felt like out the gate, I had to prove myself as a faithful. So I think what I did was, now there was one player that was going around swearing on our grandkids. I didn't do that. I don't think that makes for great gameplay. They cut it out, but yeah. It's because it's like
Sierra said, yeah.
Yes, but I did, I think
That's crazy, by the way.
just give if you're I think it's a couple things, but I think if it's you're an open person and then also you're backing it up with like your real feelings, because sometimes people would give false feelings, but you're feeling like they're not giving you the truth, even if they are faithful. Like there were times I can look back at conversations and be like, I can tell they were being guarded with me, but I just like tried not to have a guard up with anyone. I should have done a little more because I was a little too faithful.
Like during you were playing the game, you almost
like I feel like if you're guarded and people are sensing that you're guarded, you can be a guarded faithful. But because I was so from the very beginning trying to prove that I was a faithful, I went unguarded because I was like, oh my God, I don't want to go first. And so I just went fully unguarded. And I think in doing that, it really made my case, but then it made it harder to last past a certain point.
Wow. Did you do any prep going into the show? Like, did you play a lot of, what's the game?
Mafia?
Yeah. Cassie was talking about.
I did watch like the other seasons. I love the show, but other than that, I didn't really do any.
You didn't do any like research or strategizing?
Did Rob blow your mind when he was like just how calculated?
I love Rob. I had just watched Deal or No Deal Island. I haven't seen his Survivor seasons, but I knew that he was going to be a player I didn't want to play against.
Yeah.
So I was like, listen, if we get to a certain point and I need to think about this harder, I know he's not someone you can trust. But right now, I don't want to play against him. And I liked feeling like, I was I don't know, like, to be honest with you, it feels like a little bit of a nerd, like playing with Rob, because I was like, felt like it was like fun to, I don't know. That's where I'm not a good gamer.
Did you ever suspect?
I just want to play with him.
Did you ever suspect he was a traitor?
For sure. Okay. I mean, obviously you have to. But that last day when we were doing the bug challenge, it was the longest we're out of the castle and we're together in that car, me, Sierra, Dolores, and Rob. So everybody else is away from Rob. And imagine he's the kind of player, the closer proximity you are to him, the harder it would be to not believe him, or it just kind of felt like, think about it. Sierra and Dolores, none of them voted for him that day.
No.
So I'm just saying, it like with a little separation, I would have been able to be like, okay.
I feel like if you can figure out who the traitors are and not tell anyone and get close to the traitors, that's got to be the move. And even and don't tell the just keep it to yourself and make the traitors feel like you believe in them, because then they will see you like as an ally.
And I think, to be honest with you, I was going to use my real personality, which is I want to believe Rob is a faithful, and I really do like him. And then I felt like, if for any reason I end up at the end, of course I will have to reevaluate this relationship. But I think right now, like, let's not go pulling up every single surface. Let's just leave it. I don't know. So it's hard to say. It's not like I knew for sure. I didn't. But I thought, he's Rob. So there's a possibility.
And where did you shop before you went? Like, did you come fully ready to go? Did they provide anything?
No.
Nothing.
No. I just kind of like...
Credit to the cast, because they all like really look like I mean, Rob has a backward hat, but...
They give you like a mood board.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I just went shopping.
Okay.
So you did all of your styling yourself?
Yes.
Good for you.
Even the red dress you went home with, like that was
actually,
provided?
I take that back. So I brought they said bring a red dress, bling up, and something black. And so I brought a red dress, but I didn't know it was like, obviously I didn't know it was to go outside and do bugs in. And it was really cold that day. So they gave me the red dress because mine was like, it's hard to explain, but it was a crochet. It was a very Selling Sunset red dress.
I was going to say bugs were going everywhere.
It was, yes.
Ready to go home, or like really sad FOMO after you got killed?
when you're in it, you're sad. You know, it's the same with Dancing with the Stars. Like, you're so in it.
Yeah.
You're so like in this bubble. And then the second you're actually out of it, you're like, oh, okay, I can get back to my life. I want to have my phone. I had a dramatic death, which I loved. So it's so in the moment, you really are sad, but then.
Yeah, you did have a dramatic death. You're right about Dancing with the Stars too. That's even worse because if you like it's still on and it's live and then you see them all performing, you're like, I was there last week.
Yeah.
It's sad.
But it's that same bubble feeling where it's like you are so immersed in it, where you really are just like thinking of everything you wish you'd done. And oh my God, why didn't I bring that up? And anyway, but then cut to 24 hours later, you're like, oh, have fun, you guys.
That's amazing. How's G?
So good. Actually, they're a little recovering from yesterday. They were a little sick, but good other than that.
Stuff going around.
I know.
What was going through your mind when you turned around and saw Danielle and Carolyn? Did you suspect either? I know you said you kind of suspected Danielle earlier,
Yes,
but like
I
was
did.
Carolyn?
Carolyn.
Was Carolyn kind of a surprise for you?
Complete surprise. I mean, real shock. At
Everyone
that moment.
seems to say that. Like no one suspects her at all, which tells me like,
Or I think that she's actually playing like a really good game.
well, clearly, yeah.
But
I'm
Frozen
just,
Hour,
what was she
100%.
doing? Like what?
So I think because in the castle, you know, she was coming across so vulnerable to the game. Like there was a couple times where I remember once she said at the round table, like that she kind of spoke up that day that she had that thing with Danielle and like wasn't feeling like, you know, people were listening to her. I went to find her after just to kind of, you know, give her a hug and make sure she was okay. And I couldn't find her. And then we're later in a holding thing before we go. And I just, you know, that's when we're not supposed to talk. And I was like, oh, I was looking for you. I hope you're okay. And then she just said like, now I know she was a traitor and she was being pulled for interview and I'm an idiot. But anyway, in the moment, I just wanted to make sure she was all right. And then she just said, oh, I told them I need breaks. Like I can't mentally take all of this. Like I need breaks. So that sat in my head of like, you know, her being like a vulnerable player. And it is a lot. And now, of course, that was part of the game. She was gaming me right in that moment that I was trying to make sure she was okay.
Is there any, like, it is a game, right? But the game is to be deceitful and lying.
Yeah, like that was smart.
Does it make you feel any kind of way about realizing these people so successfully lied to you?
I think that it's the name of the game. We've signed up for it. Yes, can some gameplay be a little like eye roll worthy? Like, you know, like personally, I think swearing on certain things or doing certain things. But that being said, I've also seen the gamers game on, you know, things like Survivor or whatever, that one famous storyline about his grandma. So it's like,
What's that?
Oh, there's this famous Survivor player that like told everyone about his grandma dying and
It was all a lie.
and it was all a lie. And it was like a big Johnny Fairplay, that's his name.
Or they do like fake amulets to like swear that they have immunity. It's
Yeah.
like it's
So-
real
See, like
game
I
playing.
you know, like
I think the
I'm not
non-gamers
down for
don't
that.
respect it as much because it's like, oh my God, can someone check on those grandkids? Like, are they okay?
Yeah. It's
With bar.
To the
swearing on
gamers,
anything. And do they is anyone doing shit like that? Swear on your kids? Like, are people out there telling you to do that?
in the house, Danielle started that with a group of us, and it did kind of get her further in the game than because you know they're with the non-gamers.
She was basically saying, "Would you swear on your kids?" Or were you?
Yeah, and
so
she had us
fucked.
go around in a circle. They, of course, this is all cut, but and I think to the non-gamers that stuck with us
Why would
because
they
it's
cut
like.
that?
You know, like a Dolores and me, you know, and so when it was like started to get too far for my brain, Dolores was one of the ones I talked to, but that really, you know, Dolores was like, nobody would do that.
Yeah.
You know, and so anyway, but because they cut the whole storyline, they end up cutting my moments where I feel like I'm onto something because they cut the whole storyline. So when I really am talking to people about Danielle, that's the main thing we're talking about. So the whole thing is cut anyway.
I'm hoping Dolores steps up
That's
for
some
you.
evil shit. That's
But
some
I
evil
think it will
shit.
come out at the reunion. Who knows what they'll cover? But I know Carolyn said as well she's bringing it up. So
When just out of curiosity though, when Danielle did that, did people play along with her, or people were like, "No, fuck that, I'm not doing that"?
we all did. It was a group of 4 of us. We all went around. We swore on what was the most important to us, and yeah, and it you'll never see it because they cut it, but it did happen.
Was this earlier in the game?
Yeah.
So with that did your like red flags go up too with the challenge that she did where she wasn't putting her own photo up for a shield?
Yes, I was sitting next to Sierra. And actually, even in that episode, it says, okay, there are flags going up in the red. So they gave me 1 ounce. But yes, even Sierra and I had a moment where we're both like, what is going on right now? So from that moment, and then the moment, as I'm kind of consoling her when Derek doesn't come to breakfast, I'm like, I'm from soap, so there was no tears and the fake acting. I was just like, oh, this doesn't seem right to me. So anyway, I'm just mad. I can only be mad at myself because I really wanted to bring it up at that round table and I was just chicken. I think, when you're not a gamer, you double question everything. And I wasn't like a super bold player and it hinders you. You have to just go for it and you might get killed for it and you got to try it.
Okay.
I don't know if the term's easier or harder to show up for, Selling Sunset or Traitors?
I think it's way easier to show up for Traitors because it's a game.
Right.
So even like in these moments where I'm saying, but it's a conversation and some people may respect it and some people may not. But at the end of the day, everyone signed up for a game.
Right.
And it kind of like the content.
It's lighter.
You're not easy, the show's very like I'm assuming Selling Sunset. You guys have to show up and figure out what the fuck.
It's like people sometimes coming after your family in real life, and I'm sure the housewives would say the same thing. Where it's like, in the castle, it's like, well, all's fair, and whatever.
You might have murdered me, but when I see you next time, I'm not going to be mad about it.
Yes, like we may rib each other,
and no one's like accusing other people of like crazy rumors or anything like that.
Where it's like, oh, okay, they said this. Like, let me try and think of something.
I talked to a blogger and they said,
So Traitors I like because it's like under the guise of like even the people that like I didn't have, like when you said Tom Sandoval, it's like if I see him, it's like not like I'm like, oh my God, I hate you. I don't actually care that much. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I was like, Selling Sunset gets real personal.
It has gotten very personal where it's like, oh, this person can't be in the room at the same time as this person.
Is there anyone you can't be in the room with on Selling Sunset?
With our current cast, no.
Yay.
And that's excluding Nicole.
There's just been some shakeups. So
if you could nominate one of your Selling Sunset cast members to go on Traitors, who would you recommend?
Say Emma.
No, actually Emma would hate it because Emma would hate being away from home, off her phone, like immersed in this thing. It would have to be somebody that's like down to kind of get in there and there's a lot of things that aren't glamorous about no, Jason, oh my God, absolutely not. The worst of the worst.
You don't think he'd be good at it?
Because it's super unglamorous. Like the food you have to eat, the hours you have to film. Are you kidding me?
He's a diva.
Oh my God. He'd be like,
call the helicopter.
Where's my agent?
Like, the food sucks?
It's not great at times.
It's British food.
It's sometimes
Scottish.
not great. I'm going to go with, because you have to have a little bit of scrappiness. I'm going to go with Chelsea. I feel like Chelsea would be able to be really like good gaming, but also like she's got a good poker face.
Okay.
She's also unsuspecting and the British accent.
But I don't know if she'd be okay with leaving her kids though. So it's hard because some
just
people
more like game playing. I'm just curious who you think would do well.
Yeah, I think I think that'd be my answer. Would be Chelsea.
I agree.
Just because like some of the people like like anyone that like needs a pampered, this and this and this, there's no hair and makeup. You have to film all day, like all like crazy hours, no sleep. Like, yeah.
No sleep.
It's freezing. Like you can't, yeah.
You don't sleep.
I mean, you sleep, but it's very like, especially even if you're a traitor, it's worse. But it's like, I mean, we would get home at like, I think one time it was like 1:30 in the morning, and then they're coming to pick you up at 8:30 in the morning, and you have to be ready. Like as a girl, you have to wake up early and get ready. So it was just, and your brain is reeling, so it's also hard to fall asleep because you're just like, imagine those nights of what you watched.
Oh yeah, I could see that.
Going over like who was that weird? Am I going to call them out tomorrow?
Yeah.
Yes.
How do you just like
who voted for that person? Wait, did he vote for her? You know what I mean? It's a lot. So I'm just saying.
A lot of edibles.
Are you gonna do the show?
They asked season 1, and they've always like they checked in. I just like it's been too hard to do.
Yeah.
someday I hope I get the opportunity.
Yeah.
Like, I think it would be a lot of fun, and
Yeah.
like, like having friends who have gone out and had a good time. Yeah, I think someday,
Yeah.
like, we're doing so much here, but
Yeah.
Someday I hope I get the chance. But
It's fun. It's like, obviously logistically there are some elements to it that it's like, oh, this isn't, like going to do, late night talk show and everything is like pampered. No. Like you're at the
I
end
did
of
Special
the day.
Forces, Chrishell.
Oh,
yeah.
that's right. So
And then
you
The Bachelor,
actually,
which is even worse. So
oh, you're gonna be fine.
yeah, I don't think I would find it to be.
I
that much of a
forgot about.
challenge.
How could I forget about Special Forces? Do you
It's
know
like-
who was in the castle talking about this non-stop?
Tom.
Tom Sandoval.
It was either his band or that show. So actually, I know all
Was he really
about it.
proud of it?
Hmm?
I mean, listen, I'm proud of that experience.
Oh
yeah.
no, yeah, I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying it was like you would literally walk in a room and he'd be talking about that show, and I would just be like, okay, I can't hear about this one more time.
You're not gonna go see Tom Sandoval in the extras
But
anytime
also,
soon.
you just have so little time to talk about game, and you'd walk in a room and he's talking about his band or he's talking about Special Forces, and you're just like, oh my god.
How's the real estate market out there?
It's okay. It's getting better.
Okay.
The interest rates are high. It's a weird time because of the fires and everything. So I want to be positive about it, but I also have to be realistic. So it's getting in a better place.
Anything else you want to talk about? Was this hard, easy? Did you have fun?
Wait, is that it? I don't know. I just was expecting. Listen, that's great for me.
What do you?
What were you expecting?
Yeah.
I don't know. I never know what to expect.
And now I feel like we have to ask her more questions.
I know.
So this season of Selling Sunset. No, I'm just kidding.
But you're in love. You're happy. Everything's great.
I'm so in love, so happy.
How is married life?
Married life is good.
Yeah.
So good. G has to turn their album in at the end of next week. So just been working like crazy long hours. But I am excited for the world to see, the new songs. Maybe there was some really lovely ones in there. But also just like the best work they've ever done. So
5 years from now, what would be your dream come true? Like, describe your life.
um
And I want specifics. Not like I'm happy and healthy. Let's assume we're happy and healthy.
You asked for this.
okay,
Yeah, you
5
could've went out the
years
door.
from now. I don't know. See, why couldn't I shut my mouth and been like,
Now you're stuck here. Lock the
5
door.
years from now? I mean, I have to be open to different possibilities because I know that I will be with G and we'll be happy and we'll have to make whatever happens work. But, we've had some difficulties. We obviously are trying to have a family.
Oh, wonderful. I didn't know
Yes. So, it's just, it's not the easiest. So we've just, so I don't know. So I
Can I
guess
ask
the
some
reason why I'm not
questions
giving
around that?
specifics is because in my position, if it doesn't happen the way I
Sure.
want it to happen, I don't want it to look like a failure in any way.
No,
like,
I mean,
I'll
listen.
get my mind around the new.
Conceiving is always just a very emotional time and scary time, regardless of who you are. And can I ask some questions around that?
Sure.
Like,
I may not answer them, but you can ask whatever you want.
what's the process that you guys are going through? Like,
So basically, we went through the process of, having a donor, with eggs and
Okay.
all of that stuff, and it just didn't
mhm.
work out. And for a few reasons. And so then going forward and figuring out, what we have to do, it's a whole thing. But basically, like a lot of things have to go right. And I am of a certain age, you guys. I don't know if you know this or not.
I don't know.
23.
Exactly. Oh my God, what was that viral moment where that girl was like saying, I know myself to be 26? Is that what she
Exactly.
said?
I know that they're saying.
So anyway, without getting too in the weeds, it's a process.
Mhm.
And I think that I'm trying to learn and stay open to it may look different than what we're trying for currently. Because if time ends up being like, oh, too late, then we'll do something else and something else will be the
Okay.
Either way, it'll be perfect.
So I'm just the poster child for, go with, try it, but try and always embrace it and be happy with what you're given. So,
Well, I'm excited for you both, and
Thank you.
I wish luck seems like I'm wishing you nothing but the best.
no, listen,
Like,
I'll take it. We need it. I'll take some luck.
But I certainly know that can be an emotional time. So just be there for each other.
Thank
Obviously, I'm
you.
sure. Obviously, you guys are. But anything else?
I appreciate that. No, now we're really good, Nick.
'Cause I can go deeper. I mean, like, what's your trauma? Like,
No.
let's unpack it, Chrishell.
What's your trauma, Nick? Let's get a juicy segment
You're the one
of
where
Nick.
like that's it, like as if I didn't do my job.
Oh, I'm sorry. I never meant to do that. But
I'm just
can we get a
fucking with
juicy
you.
moment from you? A juicy segment from you?
What do you mean?
What's your trauma? Let's unpack it.
You want me to leave?
No.
Okay.
I liked when you guys went into your latest fight the other day.
Yeah.
I thought that was
Natalie and I have we've been sharing more anecdotal stories about our love life.
But
I was absolutely right, though. I know the internet completely disagreed with me.
But I think it's healthy when you can like get to a place where you're almost like laughing
Well-
about how ridiculous it is because it helps you in those moments then not take it so personally.
You're a great person to ask because I do feel like a lot of mine and Natalie's like discussion and more subsequently like the opinions of the internet, I feel like it was more gender based.
Okay.
Guy job versus girl job.
Yeah.
And I feel like with you and G, who's doing what? Because like you guys don't have to conform to some of the gender stereotypes that maybe your,
True.
heterosexual relationships do.
Yeah.
Who's getting the water?
And to be honest with you, we don't have. So that's interesting you bring that up because it's not like one person takes on the quote unquote guy's role and not like, because I'm a very nurturing person. So I love to take care of G, but then also like it switches because G can be that way for me. I think it depends on who has 100% and who doesn't. So if G's really tired, had a long day, I'm doing everything I can to like go overboard and try and nurture and everything. And then I come home from work and I'm like, these crazy bitches or something. And G's like, okay, what can I get you? What I think it's just realizing who has more to give at the time and switching roles.
Okay, but if you're in the bed first.
If I was in the bed first, G would go get it for me. But I would not. But I would ask very nicely.
100%.
And yes, but
I for the record, I want to say that there are several nights each week where I am in bed and then have to get out of bed to do whatever.
Yeah.
So the in bed first rule does not apply to
Just
members
wanted to
of
stay
our
true to the
family.
story. That's all.
But I
what's-
am traumatized by that. I'm just kidding.
I'm bad at this because I saw and I could see both sides because I actually can understand if it was like, yeah. So I'm probably not a good.
We're just
person
a
to weigh
vessel
in
for
on
all relationships out there to feel seen.
But I
That's really-
do think it was nice that you guys kind of went into it because this is ends up being like what people end up like the little things like that or
Really?
whatever. Where it's like,
Relatable.
Chrishell, always love seeing you.
that was so lovely. Nice to have
I just
you.
want this to be harmless for you. So then, next time when I'm like, come back and you're just like,
I know.
you should be on twice a year.
Oh, that's very sweet. What are we going to talk about?
I don't know.
Got a show coming
You're a
out?
busy bee. You're a fascinating person. This is
Oh,
always good.
that's
We
very
can also.
sweet.
Are you watching any TV? What are you doing? Any like? Are you?
I haven't, you know what? I haven't been watching. I'm normally like a bachelorette person.
Are you doing Severance at all?
Yes.
Oh my God, where are you?
I'm caught up.
You're caught up.
Yeah.
Oh, God,
I'm caught up. But yeah, I feel like at the last couple seasons I fell behind and then I haven't caught
Bachelor?
up. Yeah. So I think because
Listen, there's so
I
much-
didn't see The Bachelorette or this Bachelor.
No,
so
there's no more Bachelorette.
I think it was because I was filming the Traitors and then it was when the first Bachelorette aired is when we were filming that. And now I'm behind, so I don't know.
It's a good season,
What
I
do you
will
thi-
say.
I can always catch up. It's actually more fun if you can just binge it all at once. So
Agreed.
maybe I'll do that one night.
All right. good
But
on you.
yeah, no, I have nothing to unless you're gonna do a Severance episode, Nick. I doubt.
Will you be watching White Lotus?
we watch. We
Are you kidding?
we watch.
I love.
Did you
White
watch the
Lotus.
first episode?
Yes. I did.
I thought the first episode was a little slow.
Oh my God! Can we talk about how let down I am by the music?
Yes. Wait, are you talking about the theme song or the
Yes.
whole? Yes.
You. How can you go from that song to that song?
Like it's still in my head.
What is the new song?
No one knows.
False flat.
No one knows. It's just like
I-
elevator music.
I understand it's episode 1. You got all these things mature. You get the story, right. But I was like,
But you know what?
wrap
But
this
it's
shit up.
I know, but it's just how it works with every season because
I
they're all
know.
new characters. So that part didn't bother me, but I was a
Not
little
all
like,
new.
oh, what?
Not all new.
Oh, true.
Got a couple.
But think about it. Even season 1, season 2, they all start slow because you're
No, I
trying to
know,
get to
but
know
this one-
who they all are.
But I feel like we usually start with like a dead body in a.
There was a dead body.
I
did.
guess we did. I
We
guess we
did.
did in a body of water. I
Yeah.
take that back. Yeah, I was there.
Well, this is the second floating dead body to start the season. So, Mike.
Oh, come on. I think it's going to be great, but
The reviews, I mean, everyone says this is, they've hyped this up.
someone's seen the whole thing and already said that?
No, but I don't know, critics, I don't know, someone,
Okay.
the internet, you know, maybe it's Mike White himself,
Yep.
but like,
Like Parker Posey can do anything. And
I
it's
love
gonna be
Parker Posey.
great.
I love the people in the cast.
Yes.
I've just, you know, but I've heard this is like,
Yes. I'm going to get past the song. I feel like I'm going to I love the show, so
We'll forgive
yes.
the music.
so unmemorable for me.
Well, stick with it because I feel like it's just
No,
the first
no,
episode.
we're going to stick with it.
I don't know why I'm saying it like it's
Chrishell,
my show.
we love you. Thanks for coming.
Love you guys. Okay, bye.
All right. Well, thanks for listening. And thank you to all our guests, Denise Richards, Alex from Love is Blind, and Chrishell Stause. We love them all. We got a great week lined up for you next week, so be sure to tune in. Until then, have a great weekend. Bye. Hey guys, if you loved what you listened to, make sure you hit that subscribe button below. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.